to go, and we're going to tab over to the screen and get into the game. Because when last we left our heroes, some shit went down. You all killed a man.
Are we sure?
Accurately, we were like there for it. We didn't actually do anything.
I'm pretty sure it's not a man. I'm pretty sure they're not a man.
I think he was mostly a man. It was just his arm that wasn't a man.
Order, our hands are clean.
I mean, yeah, we didn't do anything. We still need to go and get that arm and bring it to Vajra.
If it's still
survived fire.
So you rescued Lawrence from where he had been captured. You
accurately Delta did.
Yes. You got the Stone of Galore and utilized it. So now you know how to open the Vault of Dragons and where it is.
Do we still have the stone? Assuming we do.
As far as I know.
As far as we know.
It has not been stolen from underneath our nose yet.
Yes. Yet is the operative word there.
Brief heads up, my lights just flickered, so if I disappear, blame the weather.
Cool. So what that ultimately means is for tonight, it's mostly going to be cleanup wrap-up, I think. You guys have some stuff to do, but also you really need a long rest, and that's going to put you down for a while.
Yes, it is.
I think we can time skip most of the long rest.
Oh, I fully intend to do so, but the point fictionally is that you still need to do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we pick up right where we left off. It's the middle of the night or actually just outside the Bookworm's Treasure. Salk and Pierce are comforting Rashal? ?
Yeah.
And everyone else, ? Is going with Lawrence to the Steam and Steel. Is that right?
I think so?
Salk was headed to the Yawning Portal.
Salk was headed
Right.
in the middle of the night?
Is it?
You gotta return the ring on the third day, and this is the third day.
Fair. But Salk is also fucked up.
Chicken.
He got Cone of Colded, and he's sick.
Yeah, but
I feel like Salk would still try.
he promised, darn it.
Okay,
I mean,
so
at least Rock can go with him.
I was gonna say Rock can go with you, and I think Esvile would go with you as well, because she's not one for sappy family moments.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
And that would give the twins and Esvile a time to have a conversation if they want to do it. Is Tristan going with you guys to the Yawning Portal? That is loud, Gamzee.
Is it?
Yes.
Sorry, hang on. I'll switch to push to talk.
Thank you.
Well, wouldn't that be up to Tristan?
Well, yes, but I mean, like, I don't remember if there was something else you wanted Tristan to do.
Can't think of anything.
So Brayden, Lawrence, Connie, and Tristan are going to the Steam and Steel. Pierce is staying with Rashal, and the twins and Esvile are going to the Yawning Portal. Is that right?
Sounds about right, yeah.
So where do we want to go first?
I've got no problem kicking things off.
Okay. So if we want to head over there, then I need to switch this out for a bit more fitting music. Why did that start playing again?
I was gonna say, what the heck?
I turned that off. There we go. I fixed it.
I can't hear anything in Roll20. Right, there it goes.
There we go. Okay.
I must have clicked off the wrong thing. Anyway, that was weird.
What?
So yeah, so Tristan, Connie, and Brayden, and Lawrence are heading.
I was going to say, I believe you're missing one there.
Yeah, Lawrence are heading like across Trollskull Alley to the Steam and Steel. It is dark outside. It is dark inside because they do not know that their boy is home. And I think as you're walking towards the Steam and Steel, Tristan says, Dove, this is going to be difficult.
In what sense?
Well, think about when I came back.
Well, aye, there was a celebration, but to be fair, we also didn't know you existed up until then.
What I mean is, it's a time of great relief and a time of great stress. I hope you're not expecting a thank you.
I mean, thank you or not, I'm just glad to have Lawrence back.
I was gonna say it doesn't really matter to me. I'm just glad to have my brother back and let's slap Lawrence in the back.
Fair enough. It's
And
just,
Lawrence turns his head, like,
it's
and
just
I am so glad to see you guys too.
consider it bending to experience. It's just, I have learned that in situations like this, if you want a coin purse, you should come round the next morning. No offense, Lawrence.
And Lawrence waves a hand. I'm taking. I don't. Honestly, I don't think they'd really. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you're here for the moment, then by all means, but if you're here for the reward, and kind of trails off. By the way, not to intrude, but, where am I going to sleep?
Lawrence tilts his head a little bit and says, it's been a few days. And he's looking at Connie and Braden like, it's been a few days. Did you guys pay up for a new tab at the portal?
Yes.
I mean, our room's still on Rainier's tab, so that's more than no.
Lawrence
Portals
says,
across the city. Ugh.
True, but
Have you all been staying at the portal?
Partly. I think let Braden moves his head, a little bit.
Wonderful.
take stock with the manor in the morning, and we'll go from there.
Hey, Nightfall, you're echoing.
When we'll go from there, if the manor's starting to get in better shape. We'll see
Tristan
about
points
getting
to the manor. It's like, that place.
Yes.
Still a work in progress.
Well, I should say so, but it's looking well. Is that yours?
Yes.
How did you manage that one?
Volo.
I'm
Follow.
sorry.
It's just Volo.
Yep, Volo happened.
I think Tristan gives Connie a look like that Volo, like the Volo that I know, like.
Yes,
and probably
that
all three of them
Volo.
start nodding like, yeah.
Volo Vent Getter, the author of the fucking book.
I.
With a monster.
Yeah, he apparently gave it to us in recompense for saving
He's
his life.
not in the city, is he?
Scholt last we heard?
Yeah, last I heard you took a boat somewhere.
Wonderful.
Slow boat to Scholt.
So I won't be going to Port Nyanzaru for a few months at least. Good to know. Although with any luck, he'll get lost at sea.
Oh, this motherfucker owes Volo money.
Of course he owes Volo money.
So Tristan is Remy LeBeau.
A little bit. He says, right, that's a bit of a walk, so given that I don't have a horse in this race, I'll head that way. Should I expect you, Dove?
Probably? Yeah.
Alright. I'll, make sure I'm awake and alone.
And Lawrence says, Tristan,
Hmm.
thank you.
Seriously,
Very
thanks.
little to do with me. I had a spell prepared to save you from splattering all over the ground, but that was about the extent of my involvement. It was, well, your siblings.
And Lawrence just has this little bit of a half smile. He says, still, it's just thank you for everything.
Remind me when things have settled down. And he looks at Braden. I need to teach you about flanking a target.
I let Braden goes to say I've been doing that.
Yeah, you go to hold your finger up, and he says, I'm the only one who went for the necromancer.
To be fair, we also didn't know they were that dangerous.
Call it experience.
Exactly, something that we seem to be lacking in.
Thus far.
It's a good thing I was there, despite the mummy rot, and it's a good thing that you're back, Lawrence. In the meantime, bed is calling me. Dove, I'll see you in a bit. The rest of you, I would say I'd see you in the morning, but I understand that you're, well, falling over for a while.
Well, either way, if you'll be sticking around, we'd love to have you.
I've nowhere to be, unfortunately. I, sold the house. He looks at Connie.
Ah,
Too many ghosts for my taste.
I see.
I mean, Lawrence completely nods in understanding. It's just he gets it. So
Connie's looking at her feet.
Don't.
I think like Braden's looking at. I went to say Trench there. That's the wrong character.
Tristan?
Tristan. With the look of like I completely understand.
Yeah, he puts his hand on Connie's shoulder. He says, I didn't sell it to someone random, and your grandmother's markings are safe, Dove. I just... Without you, or your grandmother, or Amelia, it was too small, too empty, not nearly quaint enough.
She gets this look on her face like she remembered something. What did you do with Ebenezer?
I'm sorry?
The goat. Little goat in the side yard there.
Oh, nothing. I assumed that others in the village were taking care of it. I hadn't for several weeks.
Okay.
Likely as not,
It's a
Taylor's...
goat. It's just gonna eat the grass.
Yeah,
out
exactly.
there.
It's like,
Yeah.
likely as not,
Just wanted
Taylor's
to make-
taking care of it.
Yeah. She seems fine with that. Just didn't wanted to make sure the goat didn't get like sold off or
the
something.
property's in the hands of, family friends. I didn't sell it to someone random. It doesn't have the
Right.
name Neverember on it or anything, but no, it's fine. Just not for me, and I would hazard a guess not for you either.
She's got like this pensive look on her face.
If I'm wrong, I can go get the deed, but
No, it's fine.
honestly, Waterdeep is not my first choice, but that's where you are, so I wanted to at least touch base. I can put down roots here, I suppose, but given the option, despite the head of state, let's say, I much prefer Neverwinter.
Why so?
It's less stabby.
Fair enough.
And then there's that whole city of brigands in the sewers situation. He gestures downward.
Yeah, good point.
And Lawrence just gives us a little bit of an eye roll, like, makes sense.
I can walk down the street without having a crossbow shot at me. Despite being a hero of the city. He looks around, nobody's around.
We're swatting the best way.
And the best part about Neverwinter is even though old Daggett is in charge, he doesn't know I'm there. And it's quieter. Well, not much, but by a city standard, it's quieter than Waterdeep. This is the busiest port on the Sword Coast. It's just a bit too stabby.
Right. There's been a lot of stabby.
And if this is where you want to be, this is where I will stay. Dove, out of your way, of course. You can pursue whatever you wish, but...
You don't have to stay because of me.
What you
Like, you're
What-
an adventurer yourself.
what you
can...
fail to understand, my dove, is that I very much do.
Her face says, "Aw," but also, that hurts. Like,
I missed all of the first. Well, most of the first. Least I can do is be around when you need an ear, help with whatever mundane thing, or someone to pass you off to Percival when the time comes.
nice.
Lawrence is great.
Oh.
And that gets her to smile.
And frankly, I was an adventurer. I don't even know if the old team is still wandering. What I said when I came back was true. They kicked me out. And I'm grateful for it.
Oh,
But I also said that in the time it took me to blink, you were packing your bags. And I miss too much.
oh, I think that gets a hug from her.
Speaking of, and I probably shouldn't bother, but about your mother.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I did what I could. What I'm trying to say is it wasn't negligence. For what that's worth.
I know. To be honest, I don't really remember her much.
I would say you have her eyes, but we both know that's a lie. Oh, she was singular. She was the first person to make me feel like a... You'll forgive me, boys. Human.
You know, Lawrence just wipes it off like no big deal.
And that stays with you. Stays with you enough to stay in some village. He was gonna say something else. And then she had you. And frankly, we both thought I was going to kill her. It's not a pleasant thing being sidled with a sire of Asmodeus.
Right.
But she took it like a trooper.
I think, like, she, like, goes to, like, touch her horns at the thought of that, like, ew.
He laughs and he says, "Oh no, it's the fire."
Blink, blink.
Precisely. Were it not for... And he glances at Brayden, half, like, glaring and half apologizing. Things would have been different. But I dare say you never would have gone off on your adventure.
I suppose not.
Still. I want you to know, again, perhaps this is better spoken when it's just the two of us, and here I am shadowing over Lawrence's reunion. But,
Right, we should get moving.
yes, we'll talk later.
Right. I'll see you back at the portal.
Right, Brayden, keep us safe on the way, won't you?
I wouldn't let her out my sight.
He pulls his hat down a little bit. You see his tail tuck into his coat. He starts walking. Oh, and Lawrence.
Yeah.
Love the new look.
And Lord just grins real big.
Quite the angelic air about you.
Funny thing about that.
Disappears into the night.
Grins mischievously.
And Lord just starts laughing a little bit. He just turns around and keeps heading to the Steam and Steel.
Yeah, it's literally like 5 steps and you're there.
Yeah.
It's dark.
it's-
There's a closed sign on the door. Can you guys make perception checks, actually?
Sure.
Do I need to? Because passive 18.
No. So I think yeah. So I think as you guys are walking up, Brayden, you see Embrick. At least you think it. You're pretty sure it's Embrick. Like at the forge area at the side of the shop, like outside. And he's just like, he's not doing anything. He's just like picking up tools, looking at them, putting them back down. Just like, having trouble sleeping, trying to occupy his hands.
Aye, it's spotting him, but it could like wave at the other two and like gesture over to the forge area.
Lawrence would stop, look over. And both eyebrows go like, oh.
It's like, put hands out and it's like, let's make this a bit of a surprise for him. And Braden will go over to the forge.
Yeah.
Lawrence will be relatively out of sight.
There's a pause, and Embrick like looks over and he says,
Trouble sleeping, Embrick.
one of us is, at the very least, yes. I finally got Avi to take something. Laudanum, I would hazard a guess. He's out, but the stillness was a bit much. So I thought I'd catch up on the back orders, and then I thought, but the forge isn't working, and I'd wake up the neighbors, and I didn't really know what to do.
Well, hopefully this will give you a bit of relief, because we've got a surprise for you. And look over at Lawrence.
Lawrence would happily step out.
Make the jazz hands.
Yep.
Yeah,
Can I like thaumaturgy like a little bit of like sparkles?
you can. What I need Lawrence to do is to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh shit!
Love tackle, love tackle, love tackle.
I believe that's called a glomp.
Yes, that's definitely a glomp.
It is. Okay, so, Embrick is Kalashite. He is, like, the Faerunian equivalent of, like, an individual from, like, the UAE, right?
We have established previously, Embrick is not a huggy person.
He's not a huggy person. He's not a touchy person in general, but the only exception to that is Avi. And what happens is, he shouts so loudly that, like, lights come on in the alleyway, like, around you guys.
Oh, shit.
Jeez.
And he literally just shouts, Avi, get out here, and then Lawrence is swept off of his feet, hugged and kissed on the forehead repeatedly.
Braden just leans up against like the nearest wall and just folds his arms, like, "Yep, we've done a good job."
And Lawrence is frozen because Embrick does not hug.
Yeah, right.
Embrick is not, affectionate like this. He's just like, holy shit.
Doing a giant squee.
And so Lawrence composes himself, takes a step back.
Okay, you take a step back. Can you make another dexterity saving throw, please?
Uh-oh.
You have disadvantage on this one.
Okay,
Okay, so
not that my rules would matter.
you step back. Braden, you heard the door to the shop open. Avi got halfway through. What are you shouting? And then, bam! Just grabbed Lawrence, like, under both of his arms. Avi is shorter than Lawrence. Keep that in mind. Grabs him under both of his arms, bends him backwards in a hug off the ground, and just, like, shout. At this point, people are, like, looking out their doors like, what the fuck is happening?
And
Sorry,
Lawrence has let out a very undignified squeak at this point.
Yeah, right?
Like, holy shit! Like, did not expect this. And, he's now that he's had his heart attack for the day,
Right?
the second heart attack for the day, the fall was a first.
Yeah, right?
And he's like,
Avi is not letting you go. Like, Avi has still got you, like, around the waist. You feel, like, a head between your shoulder blades. Like, Avi's not letting go.
And Lawrence manages to clear his throat, stop his heart from hammering in his chest. And he doesn't say this
Get
in
it?
common.
Hammering.
Yeah, right.
Oh. Wasn't even intentional, but good. And he just clears his throat, and he says, he doesn't say this in common. He slips into primordial,
Right.
and he says, "I'm sorry, I'm late. I'm home."
Oh.
Yeah. So do either of you speak primordial?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
So Avi is like sobbing, which I cannot do fake sobs, so bear with me. But between them, in common, he says, "My dear boy, we have guests. Mind your language."
And Lawrence just starts laughing.
And I think after a moment, you look over at Embrick, and Embrick is like very lightly wiping some like brass-colored tears out of his eyes. Because you're a fucking fire genasi, right?
Yeah,
Right.
and I'm assuming there's enough light out here.
Yes, there's plenty of light. There are street lights, and there's not a lot of light pollution. Yeah, you can see.
So Avi can't really tell, but Embrick can totally see that Lawrence's burn has changed.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
got the gold outline. His hair has changed.
That is
to
not his
match
concern
Embrick's.
right now.
Well, no, but
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think Embrick, in common, he says, "My dear boy, if there's anything, we should be apologizing to you. Me, especially. All that has happened, it's my fault."
Lawrence shakes his head, says, "There's
He, like,
nothing
puts
to
his hand on your shoulder.
There's nothing to apologize for. It was my foolishness that made me get caught unaware."
As I understand, you were coming out to assist me, and I did not see an ambush, and I should have, because, well, there are things about me you don't know, my boy. And about this point, Avi, like, starts and, like, inhales, and he pushes himself back and wipes his eyes, and he says, "Yes, well, we can all have this conversation over coffee, Embrick, inside." And I think Embrick starts to say, like, "Avi, it's the middle of the night. We shouldn't..." And Avi's already, like, marching inside. He's got you by the hand, Lawrence. He's pulling.
Yeah. As if Lawrence would even stop Avi.
All right.
Connie looks to Embrick like, us too, or should we leave?
I think Embrick just, like, gestures vaguely at, like, "Do you want to upset Avi?" Like...
I mean, fair.
And, as Lawrence is getting pulled inside, Brandon and Connie, I'll see you when I see ya.
Yeah, right. You get pulled inside, Lawrence, and the showroom is a mess. You actually bump into an armor stand with Embrick's armor on it near the door. There's dust everywhere. There's order tickets, like, filling up the thing, the pushpin thing.
And the funny thing is, Lawrence's hand probably twitches like, I should be working on this.
Right?
He wouldn't, but...
Yeah, Avi's, like, just marching you towards the stairs. And I think Embrick is just, like, gently, like, herding Connie and Brayden toward the door.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was upset him by interrupting or upset him by not coming in.
Right, I wasn't able to parse it either.
Connie, because you're you, I'm gonna need you to make a dex save to not run into the armor stand that you don't know is there.
Oh no. Dex save, you said?
Yes. Connie is not light on her feet.
A question: if she does fail it, can Braden spot it and quickly grab her and move her to the side?
No.
Ah.
Because you can't go abreast through the door. Connie would go first. And so
Right.
she just bowl into the thing. Because you said you were up against the wall, so you have to, turn around the building, whereas Connie would just step.
Right.
My connection got interrupted. Do you guys see the roll?
I do not.
Okay, 1 second.
Roll 20 beans, fuck you as always.
It's not roll 20. It's First Window's computer.
No, because mine was also saying that it was.
There it goes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're not gonna take any damage or anything. But I think you like hit the armor stand and like scale mail like goes everywhere. Connie takes a tumble. Embrick winces.
I'm so sorry.
He pauses on the stairs and he looks back at Lawrence with a raised eyebrow, like, what? And then he just goes, I'm sure it's fine, and just keeps going.
Lawrence just there's nothing.
Connie's just scrambling to put the thing back on the stand.
Yeah, like I think Embrick is like trying to push you aside, like, let me do it. I know how to do it. I'm fine. And you guys go inside, and Embrick like gets the thing sorted, and after
I made Connie to our feet.
yeah, and after a minute, Embrick says, well, we're not getting any sleep tonight, but here's hoping that we'll at least get something to eat for the first time in a few days. Is he all right?
Lawrence, surprisingly, yeah.
Yeah, he's a lot more alright than I expected. I was prepared to start putting water in his mouth and like feed him and like start dressing wounds, and he seems pretty fine.
There's only 2 of you. Manshun didn't.
Oh no, everyone else is fine. They went to go
everyone
deal with other things.
Got out fine.
Well, I suppose the journey never ends,
Never does.
Unfortunately.
The journey never ends until it does, which, well, that's not a talk for tonight. I might need your help. Avi is over the moon. Good.
I can't tell.
Rightfully so, but I'm exhausted, frankly. I might need your help to, placate the spring showers of my heart's desires?
Out of character, I have no idea what he means.
Calm her down. Calm him.
Not so much calm him down, but like if Embrick goes to sleep, like falls asleep or something, like keep Abby from killing him.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
fair enough.
Okay.
It's been a rough couple of a rough couple of days for all of us.
Agreed.
I don't think he would hold it against you, to be honest.
Brayden, like the whole house. You haven't been in here since the incident. The whole house smells like a church. It smells like really high grade incense, and a lot of it. Like it's just perfumed everything.
I think Braden would notice it and be like say to himself, it's like, well, that explains what Lawrence told us.
So you guys head upstairs. Lawrence, you're taken to the sitting room. You're sat down in a chair, and Avi has disappeared into the kitchen, complaining about how the stove hasn't been lit in days, and apologizing profusely about how you must be famished.
Lawrence hasn't gotten up because he knows better.
Yeah, right. And a little bit later, Brayden, Connie, and Embrick join you.
As he sits down, he's like, Master Avi, please, you don't have to go through the trouble. It's been taken care of. It's a bit of a long story, but I think you'd be interested.
Yep, Avi's already in the kitchen. He's like, "Tell me over biscuits." And yeah, the others come and sit down.
At that, Lawrence shuts up. He's like, "Ooh, biscuits."
Yeah, and Embrick like puts a hookah in the middle of the room, like takes it out from behind like a pile of cushions, like puts it in the middle of the room, starts filling it. And he looks at the 3 of you like, "You want some of this?"
Braden shakes his head.
I think Connie passes too.
Lawrence will happily, at that point, because it's
Okay.
like, you know what? No, I kind of need this.
It's a mild sedative, like.
Yeah, and you still kind of riding the high.
Right, yeah. So I think Embrick sits down, and he and of course, because he's a fire genasi, he just like touches his finger and it lights.
Naturally.
And he lets that like steep for a few seconds, and while that's going on, he says, Lawrence, my boy, I don't mean to put you out. I'm sure you've been through a great deal through my negligence, but, well, I'd like to address the mammoth in the room, if I might. How are you on your feet?
To look at Lawrence with like great intent.
Yeah, I'd like to hear some specifics as well.
And Lawrence is half listening for Avi to come back from the kitchen,
Right.
but he takes a deep breath and he says, "So, I know Master Avi is."
I can hear you, don't worry. Sound of pots clattering.
Yeah, of course. But he says, "I know
Embrick,
you're
you
the
better not have
more-"
lit that hookah.
Oh.
Embrick pauses.
Lawrence glanced over like, "Uh-oh."
Embrick pauses and then just slowly takes the wand out of it and puts it in his mouth.
And Lawrence just shakes his head and says, "I know Master Avi is the more faithful of you two."
I think Embrick
But-
just blows some smoke out of his nose in your direction.
And
That could be taken a couple of ways.
A little bit, yeah.
Lawrence can't help but smile just a little bit, and he says, he puts a hand up to his burn scar.
It's not a burn scar
and
anymore.
Well, no, but he traces around in the shape of God's holy symbol, and he says very simply, "Your prayers got heard." And he's very because he knows that Avi is a priest of Eldath.
Yeah.
But this was not Eldath's doing, very obviously.
Yeah. So I think Embrick
So he's very notably looking at Embrick.
yeah, right. Embrick passes him the wand, and exhales, opens the window and exhales out of it and closes the window again. At about this point, Avi comes in. He's got a coffee tray, and he goes to set it down. He just scowls at Embrick, and Embrick just shrugs helplessly. And he sets the coffee tray down, and I think he sets the coffee tray down and snatches the wand from Lawrence. And it's like, I don't approve, but at the very... And Embrick is just glaring at him, and he's like, I think the occasion calls for it, Avi. And Avi's looking at the wand. He looks at Lawrence, looks at the wand, sniffs it, holds it out to Lawrence.
And Lawrence will imbibe, but only lightly. It's not going to be a full pull like Embrick did.
If that's Drudene, you're sleeping on the couch. We don't have a couch. Exactly.
That's great.
And then Avi picks up a mug of coffee from the tray and turns to leave. And he says, I want to hear more about Embrick not being faithful. And leaves. Embrick just folds his arms
And Lawrence
Make a con save.
I had a Colton in my lap. Give me a second.
Yep.
Con save, you said?
Yep. If you're taking a hit from the hookah.
I love these two.
Okay, so you can roleplay this out however you want. But your charisma goes up by 1, and your int and whiz go down by 1 temporarily.
Basically, for until the next long rest or something.
Correct.
Okay. So he takes a little half pull, and then he chokes a little bit, like, "Oh right, this is why I don't do this very often." And he puts the wand back, just trying to clear his throat a little
Yeah,
bit.
and Embrick is sipping coffee at this point.
And Lawrence will take a cup for himself and just says, "Right, so long story. So then he looks at Embrick. He basically makes the point of glancing towards the kitchen where Avi went.
Yeah.
Says, so after I got grabbed, and he'll do a quick recap of, it's like, Manshoon
Go on.
basically wanted the stone. So Manshoon wanted the stone and was basically willing to trade my life for it. And in the ensuing time, I blame myself. I really did. And he looks over at Embrick. He says, again, it wasn't your fault. It was my foolishness that got me grabbed like that. I should have been more careful, and I wasn't. So, it was a lot of self-recrimination. It was a lot of anger at myself. And I eventually got to the point where I hadn't quite given up, but it was self-loathing, more or less. And apparently that's when Forge Master Gond appeared to me.
You hear a clatter from the kitchen and slightly scurried footsteps. Abby comes back in the doorway and he like raises an eyebrow at you and just very, very like passively he says, "Not Eldath."
No, but
You're sure?
from positive, Master Abby.
Looks at Embrick. Embrick shrugs. Albie's is giving him that look that could best be described by Birchmila as, "What did you do?"
Morris knows this look well.
Do you mind if I roll a quick religion check?
Sure. Yeah, you absolutely can. You have advantage on this because you've been to the House of Inspired Hands. Okay. Yeah, like, Gond is basically the god of savants. He focuses on creativity, and yes, he likes hard work and craftsmanship, but mostly it's the spark of inspiration, making things that have never been seen before, the desire to see things that are wonderful. These are Gond's domains. Which, fitting.
Right.
So,
I think Connie says, if I remember right, Eldeth is a pacifist, right?
Unless in defense of oneself or another.
I was just theorizing maybe they didn't want to intervene directly, so Gond it is. But that's just speculation.
Are you... Avi squints at you, Connie. Not in, like, a judging way, just like... I think all he says is, "Are you?" And then you hear several small explosions from the kitchen, and Avi, like, takes off running.
because of course it would be explosions.
Yeah, like literally, like, multiple tens of small explosions.
Oh no, the spinach puffs!
Oh no!
And then, yeah, Embrick says, so, divine intervention. All right. What does that leave us? What does that leave you? Are you going to, what, seclude yourself in a church?
And Lawrence just snorts and almost spit takes, but he has enough decency to swallow before he does.
Yeah, right?
And he says, no, that's the last thing I want to do. And
Avi comes
think
back with
so.
this huge earthenware bowl full of popcorn. Which,
Nice.
look it up.
Gorgeous.
I am about 60% sure that is a Middle Eastern invention.
it is just
It comes back, he sets it
I
down,
love
and he says, well, we'd support you either way, my dear boy.
I think first things first. I think it's time I go off and start looking into getting my journeyman recommendations, because I figured what better way to expand my horizons and please Gond in the process than by learning new techniques, expanding my own skill set, making something unique. Several things, ideally. I've already got some ideas.
Ember and Avi look at each other and then look back at you, and like Avi like starts to say something, and Ember cuts him off, and he says, "Whatever you feel is best, my dear boy. We will, of course, support you, and we'll get all the paperwork lined out." And Avi, I think, mutters in Primordial, like, "You only just got back."
And Lawrence gives him a look. He answers back in Primordial. I'm not going anywhere yet.
Right. I have some. And he ducks back into the kitchen, and Embrick is nodding along and takes a handful of popcorn, and he says, "So, let me turn this around and get back to the point. First of all, you have our blessing. You are more than ready for your journeyman's test. Though I thought well, I guess you can't if... I was going to say I thought the inn was to be your test, but if you think a more traditional route is applicable, then by all means, we've taught you most all that we could. Though, I will say, between you, me, and your siblings, my dear boy, Avi had his heart set on Steam, Steel, and Sons."
No.
And Lawrence actually, smiles a bit, and he looks out the window, and he just makes a show of pointing at the manor. He says, "It's not like I'm too far."
Quite so. Though if you're traveling, Avi's going to fret, but then again he always does. It is good to have you back, at least for a few days before you head off on some other grand scheme.
And Lawrence is already shaking his head like, "Believe me, it's going to be some weeks at the least."
Speaking of which, have you made any progress on your other... I don't claim to understand fully what you're doing, but you've had enough councils of war in my sitting room.
We've dealt with, well, me getting grabbed and all that.
Yes, quite.
We
I'm
have...
talking about the other thing. Something about a stone?
And Lawrence looks at Braden like...
Braden stops sipping at his tea. No one's seen him take.
Coffee, but yeah.
Of course.
Aye, coffee. And it's like, well, we did find it, thankfully, and we now know exactly where we need to look.
And what we need to get while we're
Yes.
at it.
So...
Sure, lie to him some more.
That was not a lie, excuse you.
We don't know where to look.
Yes, you do,
What?
actually. You
Yes,
do. You do know where to look. Rashal wrote it down and Tristan confirmed it.
It was a theater.
Kit just didn't know what it was called. off the
I
top
could
of
not
their-
remember the name of the theater, but yeah, the KnightLites know.
My apologies.
No worries.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
So
Welcome back.
Embrick says, right, so you need a skeleton key.
It's a bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, we need.
Well, I assume this entire matter wouldn't involve a brass fitting, but if you got our treasure back, it's the least we can do.
And Lawrence has the decency to blush at that.
What do you need?
I mean, unless you have Beholder's eye stock laying around, we have everything that we need.
I know where to get one, but you're not going to like it.
in before the sewers.
Likely, but that's a bit more hit and miss. You're not from around these parts. Beneath the city, there's another city called Undermountain, and there's a rather prominent beholder there. Goes by the name of Xanathar.
And Lawrence immediately like,
Twitch.
Shit.
Twitch, sip coffee.
We've unfortunately.
Did I ever mention that one to the rest of the party?
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Oh boy.
I take it you're acquainted.
Unfortunately.
Not personally, but yes.
Apologies. Avi comes back in again with like a big pile of flatbread and some like it's basically like a hot stew, but it's mostly like for the bread.
So
It's-
non-curry, basically.
Yes, except it's not curry, because curry has like stuff in it. It's more like a cross between curry and hummus.
Ooh.
Interesting.
I mean, I would lean more towards soup, but
Also good. And when he comes in, he sets the tray down. And he says, "It's not much, but it's all I could do at this time of night. I'm feeling a bit out of my head. I took something earlier." He sits down beside Embrick.
from the sounds of it, you haven't eaten either. Any like gestures at the food?
They both look gaunt.
And Lawrence, gestures to it as well. Just when
No. By all means, you must be hungry.
Master Abe, when Gond appeared to me and made me the offer he did, which was to be his champion, he made sure I was fed, made sure I was well watered. I am okay.
Wow.
Forgive me, but you two look like you haven't eaten in days. You look like I should.
Yeah, so I think Embrick says to Avi, he says, "I think we can forego propriety just this once." And Avi nods and reluctantly grabs a handful of popcorn.
And Lawrence smiles and sits back and says, "So, after all of that, and he touches where the whole incident became. He says, "This happened," and he points to his newly brassy hair that probably looks pretty close to Embrick's.
No, you have some highlights that are like Emmerich's. but
it's
yeah,
highlights.
Yeah, your
Because-
hair. You don't have Ganassi hair, but you have you
Okay, I
look
wasn't sure if it
more
was
like
highlights or if it all changed.
no. It's more like nephew.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. And he
Does
says,
he have brassy tips instead of frosted tips?
Yes, but it's more like they're streaks.
Okay.
"Nice." So and he says, and this happened. So
I have to say, I assume this came from whatever Gon did to you, says Avi, but it's a bit ostentatious, don't you think? And Embrick says, "I don't know, I like it."
and Lawrence just smiles and takes a whole handful of popcorn, like,
well, at least it's better than what Sock ran into and gave us up.
That's very true.
I think they both look at you, Avi over his coffee cup, like, "Go on."
It's bad times.
and Lawrence just looks over at Braden like, "Oh yeah."
No one is hurt, are they?
That.
I
No, thankfully.
There was
Just
there was
No,
some
that's
close
not entirely
calls.
true. There is someone that's badly hurt.
I can
Just not one of us.
I can do what I can, but
I don't think you would want to.
I mean, why?
Let's just say Mansion won't be a problem anymore.
And Lawrence, glances at Braden and smiles.
Avi takes a sip of coffee. Embrick hesitates, and he says, "How many did you take care of?"
And at that, Lawrence's smile drops like, "Uh-oh."
I can't answer that.
No, you can't.
No, because Braden fucked off.
Exactly,
Well,
yeah.
not just Braden fucked off, but we haven't talked to Trent.
Yeah, you haven't talked to Trench, yeah.
Of course, it's also stupidly late.
Yeah, so I think Avi, starts to say, this is conversation for the morning, and Embrick, in a more serious tone, says, "I don't know how many are in the city, but there's at least 6.
And Lawrence swallows his coffee real hard.
I mean, as far as we were
6.
aware, there was only one in the tower where Lawrence was held. Looks at
So-
Lawrence. Is that right?
And Lawrence shrugs like, "As far as I was aware."
No, I told you.
Okay,
I told you otherwise.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And he was always talking to
Couldn't
himself. There was
Right,
always
couldn't-
someone
so I
up.
suppose this comes down to whether or not you think Lawrence would have put it together.
There is a mechanic in the game for this. Roll insight.
Who?
You. Okay. That's a pretty decent roll. So make of that what Lawrence will.
And Lawrence, stops. And he says, God, I'd heard him talking to himself while I was in there.
Embrick swears in Kalashite, and it makes Avi flinch.
And Lawrence nods in understanding, and he doesn't go pale, but it's, crap.
So we were dealing with at least 2 in the tower. Let's hope Trench got them.
Lawrence nods and says, remind me in the morning to go thank him.
I mean, I'll be there with you.
Me too.
And
Well,
Lawrence,
wherever you're going to be
let's have
tomorrow,
this
my dear boy,
sigh.
you're not going to be here.
And Lawrence looks up like, what about the work?
Yeah, I think Embrick is also looking at Avi like, what about the work? And Avi chuckles and he says, I think we can wait another day, don't you, Embrick? And it's Embrick turns purple.
And Lawrence's eyebrows go up, then he just hides a smile behind his coffee cup, like, I see.
And let Braden looks at him and just like slowly looks away like this is not a conversation for me.
It's the, I wonder if I can make that dive out the window.
Yeah, right?
Poor Rockham.
Looks between the Embrick and Avi, then looks at the window.
And Lawrence just take it because he's known Embrick and Avi for almost 5 years. This is par for the course.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I
And then
think
Connie's just trying and failing not to spit out her coffee from a chuckling.
after a moment, Avi says, so ultimately I think it's business as usual, What will you do now, KnightLites?
I think before anything else, I think we need a rest.
Our rest would be ideal.
Like, we've been running on fumes for a while now.
Lawrence nods and says, well, in the morning, I'm going to go check on the manor. I need to, rendezvous with the rest.
And now I
see
think
where we
about
go
it, I
from
need
here.
to... Now I think about it, I still need to tell the Enclave that Necromancer was dealt with.
Well, when you have rested, and please be kind enough to give me a few hours warning, do stop by for another lunch.
I would never object to Avi lunch.
Lawrence also says, well, I could help with giving that notice, I suppose.
Take tomorrow to do what you will, my dear boy, but make sure you're here afterwards. Oh, and just in case you've lost track of time, that would put you working during Fey Day.
And Lawrence nods and says, I have no issue with that whatsoever. Besides, I've missed the forge.
And we've missed you.
And Lawrence he can't stop smiling.
After a
It's-
moment,
yeah,
Embrick says, coffee, Avi, at this time of night, and after what you've taken. And Avi hiccups drunkenly.
Oh no.
Lawrence just puts a hand to his face like, oh boy.
Right. Dr. Connie strikes again.
Okay. So, you want to make a medicine check?
Medication interaction, go!
Medication interaction.
Hey, roll
Is this something to be concerned about?
roll medicine. So first of all, well done on that roll.
Thank you.
Embrick said that Avi had taken a dose of laudanum, which is like narcotics and alcohol.
Right.
It's
Basically opium.
yeah, it's probably not affected by the by the caffeine in the coffee at all, except he's kind of being pulled in two directions, which might be a little bit hard on his heart, but that's not anything to worry about. However, this room is filling up with Druidine smoke.
What's Druidine smoke?
Druidine
hookah,
is,
yes,
the
but-
plant that's in the hookah.
Right.
Oh yeah, because the one was left off it.
Avi should be fine. Just
Yes,
don't give her
he's
any
just-
more of whatever it was.
just
But
gonna
we
be-
should probably open these windows.
Yeah, I think you're all getting a little bit hot box at this point.
And
Embrick like reaches
So-
over, opens the window.
Lawrence probably reached behind him to open that one.
Yep, Avi's just like stuffing his face. And Embrick says, I think we've had quite enough excitement for a few days. I'm going to put all of this away and see to... And Avi hiccups, and Embrick just like gestures.
In fairness, Avi probably hasn't eaten in several days because of Lawrence not being there.
Yes, which means he has absolutely no tolerance whatsoever.
Right. So yeah, make sure you both get your fill of the food. It was delicious, as always, Avi. And try and get some sleep.
I am certain we will get some sleep tonight. I will try to open the forge before Avi wakes up, but we'll see. We have quite the backlog. You are not helping until the day after. It points at Lawrence.
Of course. And, you know, he knows when he's beat.
Alright. I wish you all a good evening. Feel free to take some... And like nudges the popcorn bowl. Of this for the others if you like. Just bring the bowl back if you would. And we will see you next time. Thank you again. And do be careful walking home, my boy.
Of course. I'll see you, not tomorrow, but the day after.
It's okay.
What's up, Braden?
I should probably describe the reaction I just had there.
Go on, yeah, go on.
When Embrick said and do take care walking home, my boy, it's like just Braden like puts the like coffee down and like sits back in the chair like, oh shit, I forgot.
Yeah, so basically that's called fax machine noises?
Ah, fuck.
Can you make a deception check to see if you can hold your composure?
I'm drawing a blank. What did you forget?
You'll find out. Okay, that's not a great roll. I think.
No.
So the way that I imagine it is, you guys are sitting on an array of cushions, right?
Yeah.
Embrick is sitting nearest the door at the head of the table, right? Lawrence and Connie are sitting against the wall with the windows in it, which would mean
Yep.
that Braden is sitting opposite Embrick.
Yep.
That makes sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think because of that roll, Embrick says, well, if you feel so strongly, would you mind escorting him?
It starts to stammer a bit. Absolutely. Definitely. Right on that.
Connie's got to look like, what did you do?
Wonderful. And he goes and like picks Avi up and picks up the tray of like bread and stew and says, then we will bid you a good evening. You are going across the hall, and he's like already leading Avi out of the room, and you're going to stay, and you hear a door close. In there!
And Lawrence just smiles and gets up and, he offers a hand to, Braden and Connie to
Yeah.
help him up.
Embrick will walk you out. Because he's got to lock the door.
Yep.
You guys head back downstairs, and Lawrence, you see the armor stand again, and Embrick like opens the door for you guys. Like you see him like drag the armor stand away. He seems loath to touch it.
And, Lawrence helps Embrick move it, make it a little easier for him. But he, has this bit of a sad smile on his face, and he says, you really would have just come running, wouldn't you?
No, my dear boy, I wouldn't have, and that's the problem.
Oh.
And Lawrence just nods a little bit. He says, "Someone had to stay here and look after Master Avi, right?"
He nods. Yes, quite so. He was beside himself. He pats you on the back. Thank you for coming by, truly. But now, focus on getting home safe.
Of course, Master Ramberg. And
Yeah, you step outside, he closes the door, locks it. You guys are alone on the street again.
Oh, right. What's her name is in the apartment? I forgot.
It took you a minute.
there you go. There it is. And
So,
Lawrence, for his
Didn't we
part,
get told? Didn't we get told that she left?
yes.
Yes, but we don't know
Yes,
who
but now
else
the
might be
Zentarum
there.
know where you live.
So,
Fair.
I think we need some
I don't
levity
know,
after that. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I am in the mood for some levity. So I think we cut back to the bookworm's treasure. Everyone has left,
Except for Pierce.
except for
and-
Pierce and Rochelle. The sad Dragonborn has collected himself in his overly plush chair. And I think as we fade in on this scene,
Where was the stone left, if you don't
left
mind me
on the
asking?
counter, which is exactly what I was about to say.
No, it was left on the floor.
Which
It
is
was left on the top
which is-
shelf, wasn't it? It was
Yeah, it
moved.
was on the top shelf.
No,
Oh,
it
right.
wasn't. It started to get like that, and then we were like, "Oh, you're gonna have to make a save if you touch it," and then it was like, "No, we're just gonna leave it right there." Yeah, it's still on the floor. So I think, yeah, like they leave. Everybody leaves to go about their business, and I
I
think
have a question.
give me a second to describe the scene.
Sorry.
Everybody leaves. The door closes. Pierce, you're like sitting near Rochelle. Rochelle is composing himself, and then I think you both like look over at the stone and then at each other, and I think Rochelle says, rather, Master. I can't get Rochelle's voice. Hang on.
Take your time. You're good.
Master Avril,
let's-
I would, so tempting, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but
What was your question?
would I have to make a save if I just mage handed it up to the top shelf?
It is, I believe it's heavier than 5 pounds.
Damn it.
I could be wrong in
That
that.
would have been such a good. Yeah.
That would have been such a good thing. I'm willing to let you try.
What would it be like? Just
Yeah, I would say make an an intelligence saving throw to see if you can like pick it up, because I don't know how much it weighs.
okay. Let me do that. And as he's gonna like do this, and as he does this, he's going to say, "Yes, it's tempting, but
There is so much that we don't know. There's so much that we could know, Master Avril. There's legend lore, such a taxing ability, and yet some creatures have found a means to do it, and it starts floating, and it's like starts heading over to a bookshelf, and it like passes by the like books that got scattered by the cone of cold, and Rochelle just stops talking. She's like, "Oh,
that's why we shouldn't mess with this power yet.
yet."
I'm sure there's a way to shield our mind from its.
I assumed
Would
that
you
the-
say
that the
control?
mental discipline would be enough, and I was right until Master Holcomb distracted me.
I mean, if a single distraction was enough to throw you off.
Old Rochelle
And-
is not as tempered as he used to be, I fear.
And I'm just gonna like move it to the top of the bookshelf, just out of both of our reach, unless I use mage. Well, no, Rochelle probably has mage hand as well.
Oh yeah, certainly. Yeah, you set it up there, and Rochelle says, it is, I think, a good lesson, Master Averill, a good lesson that I do not mind being the subject of demonstration. Those who wield powers like ours must avoid blades, as our bodies are often less refined than our minds and our magical aptitudes. But more than
Our
that,
minds are a powerful weapon.
through us, others can wield powers that could destroy those that we seek to protect so easily. Had
He nods.
Galore chosen a fireball, we would have a far different matter on our hands.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine the Bookworm's treasure not being here anymore. That's... Whew.
To say nothing of the collected works.
There's so much knowledge here. I don't think losing the knowledge here is worth what the stone can give us with the risk it holds. So we should wait until we're, lack of a better word, able to handle it?
I would be remiss if I said that even the likes of Mordenkainen would easily be able to resist the will of an Aboleth. They are creatures the likes of which even it is said that Illithids will turn their gaze from. It is not something to prepare for, Master Averill. It is something that one could only hope to mitigate, I think. And I speak now from experience.
I think Pierce pauses, thoughtful. Okay, what is, like, the word that a wizard would use for their spell slots, like, in character?
Yeah, that's a valid question. I don't think it would be spell slot. I think, like, it could be explained that way in the same way that, like, video game developers use video game lingo, right? But I think it's an extent of mental fortitude and willpower mostly, or reserves of mana, depending on the creature, right? Like a lich who has almost boundless willpower would have reserves of mana, right? But for like you and Rashal, I think it's just like you get tired when you think too much. You know, we've all experienced that. Like,
Yeah.
you study hard and you get tired. Yeah.
I can... Actually... I don't believe I have the energy to cast any more spells. Aside from cantrips, that is.
Which are more than enough to burn down the shop, Master Averill.
You're right.
You have more than proven your adeptness at the arcane. You are a wizard of considerable power, and one that I would not make an enemy of, given the choice.
I see you as one of my favorite allies, Rashal.
Smiles at you. I do hope that Master Sorkum can forgive the outburst.
I don't believe it's you that he should be... I don't believe it's you that owes him an apology. I believe it's the stone itself. It wasn't your fault that it wanted to lash out.
No, but it was my fault that it took control. It was my decision to use the stone, and no one, no quest or Gaius or persuasion forced me to do so. I was the one who created the situation, if not the spark that ignited it. I love it when wizards talk because it's so logical.
I'm really enjoying this. Oh, like it's not like we have to do this. It's for like the fate of the world.
It's literally two mathematicians having a conversation. That's what it is, or scientists. Like that's
Yeah, that would lead to this result. We can't. That's not a desirable result. We need to do
exactly.
this. Perhaps if we could find a way to increase the fortitude of our own minds, we'd stand a better chance.
You and your kin found this device, for want of a better word, Master Averill, so it is ultimately your decision, but this shop is mine, and I am not comfortable having such a weapon, such a temptation here, not just for myself, but for anyone who may pass through these doors, anyone who may have a passing fancy of knowledge so untapped, and frankly, I don't think it wise to have such a magical artifact unguarded. I will propose to any of the KnightLites that will listen that it be moved to, at the very least, the Archmage's workshop, if not Blackstaff Tower. And to have it done so promptly.
I think he nods. I was on my to-do list of things to do. I don't...
Sooner before later, I think would be wise.
Absolutely so. I have a question.
Of course.
So the knowledge of the Stone of Galore is limited to things it's been told or that it's learned itself?
No.
Correct?
It can cast legend lore at will.
Okay. Can that information pertain to a person?
Yes.
Or is it... I think there's like a look of realization on Pierce's face as his eyes go back to the stone. He's not hidden at all. Rochelle
right.
can.
I think Rochelle
really
says,
it.
I think this is rather what I mean about temptation, Master Averill.
He shakes his head, pulling his eyes away from it. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's a dangerous artifact. The allure of knowledge is just...
For men such as you and I, it is ironic.
It's less knowledge of the arcane, but just someone I hope to find. And if it could tell it to me, that's even more temptation.
Rochelle hops off the chair. He says, if it is one or two inquiries, Master Averill, I am capable of casting the same spell. It is the breadth of Galore's knowledge that is so consumptive.
He nods. So wait, Rochelle could just do the same thing with the spell Legend Lore?
Yes, he did it for you when you arrived in Waterdeep.
On the Stone of Galore.
Pertaining to a person, not just an object. Legend Lore just does that?
Yes.
If
On
you
the
have the
spell,
energy to do
you're able
it.
to cast Legend Lore.
I don't at the moment, and the reagents are expensive. Believe me, if I had an endless supply, there are many things that I would know. But, again, he glances at the stone. For someone willing to pay, yes, I can facilitate. In a limited capacity. Much more limited than what the stone can offer.
Nods.
And that's the point. That's why Rochelle was all up on the stone, because
Yeah,
Rochelle is about as close as a wizard can get to doing what the stone does.
Yeah, But Legend Lord's limited by the number of spell slots you have.
Except for the Stone of Galore.
Yeah.
The Stone of Galore can just do it.
At the cost of who knows what.
Yeah, right.
You still have to pay for it, it's just with what currency.
Yeah, that is the thing.
Fair.
I hate how tempting the stone is to me as a person. Like, fuck.
Right? That's the point, man.
I think he takes another look at the stone and then just shakes his head. Whatever information that thing holds, you can find it out a different way. It may take time, it may take resources. It's a hell of a lot safer.
I wish that I could say with my full heart that I agree with you, Master Avro. But it has been quite some time, despite the damage, that I have felt myself moved to this degree. But not for you and the KnightLites. I would risk it once more.
So what did you find out the first time you did it?
I have not had a chance to look over my notes, and I have no memory of the conversation.
I think he gets up and goes over to where, like, he was, like, hunched over the stone.
Yeah, there's a huge, like, metal-bound tome, like, ledger book, like, on the counter still.
I think he, like, picks it up and
Can you make a
thumbs through
straight
it.
saving throw?
Fuck. I said picks it up.
This thing is as big as Pierce.
Really hope I roll well. Nope.
Yeah, so you go to take it, and start to slide off the counter towards you.
Okay,
Can
I'm getting
I-
flashbacks.
Can I choose an action, like, a thing to do in this moment?
If you have a reaction, yes.
I don't have a reaction. I was gonna say push it back on
You're
the thing
not
as fast
strong
as I
enough.
can.
You're not strong enough to push it back on the thing. So
What?
it hits you in the chest and knocks you on your butt.
Fuck.
Does it happen to be made of cheese?
It is not made of cheese. It is, however, made of leather and metal.
I think he's gonna, like, roll it over to the side off of him.
Yeah, Rochelle is like there to help you up.
Is it like it's flipped over on the floor? I think he's gonna, like, open to the first page.
Yeah, you can't read it. It's written in Rochelle's shorthand.
I can read Draconic.
Yeah, it's in Draconic. It's
I-
also in shorthand.
Oof.
For those that aren't aware, shorthand tends to be almost code
Yep.
to a lot of people.
Yep.
And it's often only readable by the person who wrote it.
Unless you're using an established system like Greg Shorthand.
Right.
Can I make some kind of roll to, like,
Not in the time it takes for Rochelle to get over there and help you up, no.
no, but I'm gonna examine it for like
So you're going to ignore Rochelle trying to help you up and saying things
I'm
like,
gonna get up and then just kind of like
yeah, Rochelle,
kneel
like,
down next to the book.
well, no, once you get up, Rochelle, like, picks up the book and closes it. And
Oh,
I
okay.
think he says, like, Avril, I would prefer if you didn't scrutinize too heavily.
Fair enough. It's heavy. You were expecting to ask a lot of questions.
He chuckles. He says, Not as such. It was just the nearest book to hand. This is my business ledger, personal journal, and repository of magical findings.
Can I, like... Is he having trouble holding this book himself?
No, because he put it back on the counter.
Like, when he picked it up, did he have trouble with it at
A
all?
little bit, yeah.
Oof. It's not just Pierce being weak as fuck. Got it.
Well, Rashal is also weak as fuck, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he like picked it up, closed it, set it on the counter. But yeah, he said, so if you didn't catch that, he said it's his business ledger, it's his like diary, and it's his spell book.
Oh.
Yeah.
Phew.
Yeah, I missed the spellbook bit.
Yeah, I missed the spellbook bit. I think he takes a glance at the book and back at him. So, before you even touched it, what was the first thing you were planning to ask it, if you remember?
Nothing that concerns the endeavors of the KnightLites, I assure you.
He gives a affirmative nod. I understand. And I think right there at the counter, he just kind of sinks back to his butt, leaning his back against the counter. Just tired.
Perhaps we should continue this conversation another time, Master Averill. Perhaps you should make your way to whatever domicile will hold you for the evening. You are welcome to my spare room, of course. I believe a good night's sleep will do us both good, though I should clean up here and send a message to the tower regarding the stone.
I'm trying to think.
Okay. What are you trying to think?
He's gonna dig through his bag for a moment
Okay.
and pull out the note card.
Okay.
And very quickly, he's gonna jot down.
You write the first letter, and immediately in like thick, like painted ink, it says, do you have any idea what time it is?
Whoops.
It's just gonna leave this message for you in the morning.
Is that what you write?
Like I like scratch out the first letter and then write that.
Okay, so like
Yeah.
I was just gonna leave this for you for the morning. You get like your thing like disappears, and it's replaced with just ellipses. Is someone dead?
Just write
One of them.
Manchun.
I don't know if it was one of the Manchus or several.
You don't.
Well, yeah, you don't know.
So
but
you put
do know
down at least
a
one
Manchun.
Manchun.
Yeah,
We also don't know if there was multiple there or not.
At least one Manchun.
I don't know how many were there. At least one Manchun.
So you get ellipses. Can this wait until morning?
It can.
So you write it can, and then you get a hasty scribble of, what am I saying? You never come in on time. I'll be right there.
Oh. You just made Mom mad.
Fuck.
Busted.
Whoops.
Oh, by the way, Pierce, what about those reports you were going to be doing?
All right. So
Pierce actually been working on those. I've been having my time. I've worked on my spells.
cool, good.
For that,
So how long do you wait?
Pierce is just gonna sit there.
How long do you wait?
15 minutes at first, because
Okay.
like just
After
fuck.
15 minutes, there is no like void portal that opens up.
She's tapped out. She's taking a carriage.
Nightfall is dying, apparently.
I'm gonna write on the notes. You're out of spell slots, aren't you?
No response.
Wow. Are you trying to get slapped when she arrives?
He's
tired.
gonna get whacked by the black
He's tired.
How long do you wait?
If it takes too long, Pierce is just gonna fall asleep where he's sitting.
Okay, so you're just gonna fall. Okay, so yeah, I think you just wait, and then you like Rochelle starts cleaning up the shop, and you just like close your eyes and out you go. So this is so absolutely perfect because I want to do Sock'em and the Black Viper, but what's great about this is the three of you leave the Steam and Steel, and you start heading toward the Yawning Portal, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
You get about 5 streets away from Trollskull Alley, and a carriage in the middle of the fucking night, a carriage stops and like flags you down.
Freeze, turn around.
I'd stop.
Yeah.
Walk over apprehensively, like
Yeah.
hand on rapier just in case.
The
Lawrence grip tightens on his hammer.
the curtain on the window like gets pulled aside, and a very tired-looking Vajra Safar is looking back at you.
And
It's like
Lord
brain
perks
visibly
up in the
relaxes, like let's go.
Lord Blackstaff! What are you doing here? It's the middle of the night.
Yes, I got your message.
and Lawrence looks back at, where Trollskull Alley is.
You see her like briefly do a head count, and then she makes that face like, oh shit. She sighs.
Last we saw him, he was at the Bookworm's treasure, just pointing.
Please tell me Vajra writes on the paper and waits for a response, and there's nothing. Please.
No, she doesn't. So she sighs, she puts a hand to her face, and she says, don't suppose you're going that way? I could give you a ride.
Actually, we were headed for the Yawning Portal.
I see.
Thank you, though.
Good evening, then, I suppose.
Well, Lawrence holds a finger up because he's pretty damn well rested, all things considered. Right?
Okay, yeah.
He says, "I would be happy to accompany you if you would like, Archmage."
And she squints at you for a second. She looks you up and down. Which god did you run into?
And Lawrence he can't help but smile, and he says, "Forge Master gone, Archmage."
And my captain failed to report it, of course. Yes, please,
To
if
be
you would.
fair, we only just found out.
Yeah, it was very recent findings.
How recent?
Like, looks
A
at his
little over an
hand.
hour ago?
Like a matter of hours.
Yeah,
ago,
like
right?
like 2 or 3 hours
Yeah.
ago, yeah.
It's only been a few hours since they discovered it, Archmage.
I see. Well,
That's what isn't unpierceable.
you could tell me all about it on the way to Trollskull Alley.
Of course, Archmage.
And she opens the door. She's alone, which is rare, especially for the nobility.
Especially given it's Archmage Safar.
Yeah, right. Well, no, she usually teleports by herself, but yeah, there's nobody in the carriage.
Fair. And
But
Lawrence
she's
takes a
tapped,
seat.
and there's,
Very.
like,
Yeah. And
I'm
so
not looking
yeah, the carriage
forward
starts
to
to pull away unless Connie or Brayden says something.
Wait, hold on.
Yep.
Lawrence is getting into the carriage.
Yes.
Right?
Wasn't I meant to be walking you home?
I mean, like hell, I'm gonna let the Archmage go around around Trollskull Alley by herself at
Did-
this time of night.
Do you say that, Lawrence?
No.
Okay. Because I believe Brayden actually said,
Yes,
aren't I supposed to be working?
Oh.
Character.
And Lawrence kind of just waves his hand and he says, "I'll be okay."
Considering you know who's at your house, was at your house.
Who's at your
Worst
house?
case, I go crash the Yawning Portal.
Sorry, back up. Who's at your house?
A rather unsavory person that we can deal with. Again, was.
I am the Blackstaff.
And last, like, I think, like, Brain looks around himself and last I heard you were out of spell slot. You were, like, tapped.
She glares at you.
Lawrence has wisely kept his mouth shut.
Is it a fight,
no,
or is it...
No offense, but putting the Archmage in danger is not something I'd rather do.
So there's a
Especially
dangerous individual. She sighs.
It's nothing we can't say.
Again, we can take care of
She
it.
she gives you both the like weight finger.
And
She
Lord, shut the
sighs,
fuck up.
and she like taps her earring, and her eyes flash for just a second, and then she says, "Yes, Mert, I know. I know."
I think Brain
And Lawrence cringes like,
Connie also cringes.
Brain just like starts waving his hands. It's like, no, we took care of Mansion. We can take care of this.
Yes, apparently there's a dangerous criminal squatting in one of the apartments in the North Ward.
They're not there. Like facepalm.
Yeah, right. Yes, and she's looking at you like, address?
and Lawrence just
So
rattles it
Lawrence.
off. Very ashamed.
She repeats it. Yes. Yes, you old goat. Yes. Thank
Of
you.
course, she has an earpiece. Of course.
Of course she does. Yeah, exactly. And she takes her finger off the earring and she sighs. I am certain that the heroes of Waterdeep can handle it. However, now it's handled.
And Lawrence just very quietly says, "Thank you, Archmage. That was unexpected."
Lawrence is going to show up back to his house and then cards surrounding it.
Yes. So here's the problem with that. Mert is going to send the watch.
Mm-hmm.
Tashlin is on the watch.
Yes, I know. That's why I was gonna say Brain just kind of mutters to himself, so I'm gonna be in so much shit for this.
Is so dead. Fucking Brayden is dead. Like, also, bad shit happens if the woman were that were like.
You could literally tell Vajra any of this if you wanted.
So she's not gonna
Connie
get
is
pulled
mostly
off of
staying
Brain.
quiet because she doesn't know what she wants, what they want revealed.
Brain's
We
staying
told
quiet
Vajra
because-
we have the names of the heads of the Zentarum. But like, here you go.
Yeah, Brayden Coy.
Hey, yeah, they
Yeah.
just coordinate shoot. They take their place, right?
Excuse me while I be a rat against my own guild, thanks.
Yeah, right.
I think that. Are you telling me that's not why you?
She's going to pull away unless you say something.
She's going to pull away. And
Okay.
also, Pierceable, that is not why I joined.
Totally why.
So yeah, so as you're pulling away, we leave them to their business as Vajra saying, "So, divine intervention, was that a full manifestation? Start from the beginning." And then we stay with Connie and Brayden.
Nice.
Nice.
Aye. It's like, if they've like fully pulled away, Brain just kind of goes, "Aye, yes." Oh, fuck.
Okay, so that just happened.
Yeah.
So what do we do about the apartment?
Hope to fuck that she's not still there.
Right,
And
okay.
hope that she doesn't figure out that we accidentally routed it.
Alright.
Run fast, run faster.
Run fast, run faster.
I think something bad was supposed to happen if she got caught.
So where
Yes, Braden was getting ratted out that he was his head.
so where are you guys going and what are you doing?
To the yawning portal
right,
because
yawning
fuck.
Okay.
Meeting up with the other three.
So okay, cool. So we crossfade back to the bookworm's treasure. Pierce, you're awakened by the sound of the door opening. The bell on the door tingles, and Lawrence and Vajra Zafar come in.
I think he's like on the he was sitting upright, but he kind of like fell over on
Yeah,
his
you're
side.
on the floor with a snot bubble.
Yeah.
Like you are out, son. And yeah, I think you're like, you hear the door open and you're just like, huh? And then you hear Rashal say, I assured you, Archmage, there was no reason to come in person. It's just that, and then yeah.
Fuck.
And Lawrence is
Exact words.
kind of quietly trying to help Pierce get to his feet.
Pierce is behind the counter. You don't see him.
Oh! In that case, Lawrence probably looking around like, where the hell is he?
Where the hell is everybody, for that matter?
I think you see like Pierce's hand on the desk, like on the counter.
Okay.
Him, like groggily get to his feet.
Yeah, you
Is his
see.
hair off to one side?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he's got the
Yeah,
he's got the
like
fat
he
neck.
Just like
definitely got a
plastered.
And Lawrence just leans on the counter like, good morning, sleepyhead.
Question out of character, because he did fall asleep, has he been hit by the caffeine bullshit?
Caffeine bullshit?
Take
No,
that.
because he didn't.
Oh,
He didn't.
the
He didn't
boost.
have it.
Oh, why? He wasn't there. Okay, never mind.
And even then, I've probably been asleep like 10 minutes.
Mhm.
So it would have been a short rest, not a long rest.
So yeah, you look and you see a very groggy Vajra Safar. She's leaning on her staff just a little bit too much. Uh-oh. We lost Gamzee.
Gamzee crashed.
Oh well. So she's leaning on her staff a little bit too hard, and she's like looking around the room, and you see after a second her eyes are just transfixed on the stone.
Hey.
She doesn't seem to have noticed you yet.
Astra? I'm sorry, no, that Pierce does not think Astra. That
Wow.
was me, not Pierce. Sorry. Lady Blackstaff.
She like looks away much more easily than it felt like it was for you, and she just like squints at you and she says, "All right, I'm here. I assume this is regarding that. Did you break into my workshop?
No.
Then that's
not.
the real.
He nods.
And you want me to take it out of here then?"
Yes, and I wanted to inform you of the news regarding Manchun.
She's already like walking over to the stone.
And Lawrence gives Pierce a bit of a shrug and says, she's already aware of that.
Lady Blackstaff.
She stops. The black staff is like touching the stone.
With all due respect, please be careful.
She smiles at you.
He gestures at the room.
Rashal's cleaned it up. It looks normal.
I mean, fair. Okay,
Yeah, remember Rashal was cleaning it up when you passed out.
fuck, you're right.
So yeah, so she smiles at you, and she says, "I'm not going to attune to it, if that's what you're asking."
You don't have to attune to it.
She just like taps the falcon on the top of the black staff, like its beak to the stone, and the stone just vanishes.
And Lawrence's eyebrows both go up like, well, and I thought I'd seen everything.
That works too.
That works too. If I may ask, Lady Blackstaff,
And she like plunks the staff back down and squints at you.
if we have more matters relating to any of our quests, could we come to you for the use of the stone in a safe environment?
I'm not fully convinced that the stone is safe, or fully aware of what it can do. I will consider it at a later time. I'm not in a state to be making any decisions right now, and neither are you.
At least it's not a no.
So the magic, and A Manchurian is down.
She nods. We'll talk about that tomorrow. I'm sorry, but I can only hold concentration on the spell for so long. And when I do, it's going to appear on the end of the staff. I need to get back to the tower.
He nods.
Banishment, baby!
Nice.
Oof. Deckstone's not going to be happy about the banishment.
Probably not, no.
I mean, depending where it goes, it might be very solitude.
If it's the solitude it wanted, then there we go.
If anything, it might be mad that it got brought back.
Yeah.
So she's already
Bethany, stop chewing on my microphone.
So she's already heading for the door.
And Lawrence is following because he's going to be a good little bodyguard tonight.
After he sees that she's gone, out the door,
Okay.
he's slumping back behind the counter. We'll have to be in a comfy spot to long rest.
Yes. No, but you do need to... but Rashad is going to say, Master Averil, the spare room might be a bit more comfortable.
You're right. And he's going to force himself to stand back up.
Yep.
And go upstairs.
So...
Rachel.
Good night, Percival. So now we get to have the meeting that I wanted to have most of tonight gonna be real.
Okay.
Which is the twins and Esvile.
Oh dear.
I'd take that as a compliment. Anything involving Sockham is just enjoyment for kids.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So walking down the streets of the city in the middle of the night, that is a little bit, just a touch too loud. Damn it.
It is good though.
Oh, yeah, it's good. It's just a touch too loud.
Can you please stop chewing on my microphone, Bethany?
It's the middle of the night. There's nobody on the street, and Isvila is just walking between the twins, dressed like a ninja,
As you do.
as you do. What conversation are you having when we fade in, Sock?
My what almost immediately slipped out of my mouth was, and that's why I need to learn big boy hand.
Okay, yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect. And so Isvila is nodding along, and she says, "All right, but can I ask you something?
Sure.
I think I've been rather well behaved tonight, and I'm just been sitting on this for a few hours, so I'm just going to put it out there. Was that Tristan Seargaze? Was that actually Tristan Seargaze? The actual tiefling hero? Just it just showed up in the how did that happen?
Yeah, that's Connie's dad.
Yes, I heard that, and I don't think I took it in as a... It's rather like hearing that your mother is dating Lord Mert and then having him show up for tea. So that was Tristan Seargaze. That was him.
Yes.
And he's related to your sister.
Yes.
My sister? Are we... Is that... How does this work?
I mean, if it means anything, you have my blessing when the time comes, as little as that's worth, so
What time?
I'd call you a sister
What time comes? What?
when you properly join the Are you going to properly join the family, or are you just...
In what sense? What's involved? What do I have to do?
I feel like it is completely within Sockham's, purview as a character to completely forget, not know how to explain this, so he just holds up the hand he has the ring on and moves it to, the ring finger.
She squints at you.
that even a thing in Bubblefuck Nowhere, Ember Ridge?
The gesture that we understand that Salcom did is probably not what he did.
Okay, but he did the equivalent of
He did the
that.
equivalent of it, yeah, exactly. She like squints, and I think she says, "Is this some foreigner thing that Brayden hasn't taught me yet? Amberidgian tradition? What? Why did you do that? I'm not wearing a ring."
Yet.
I'm sorry?
I don't know how to explain any of this.
So I need to get a ring to join the KnightLites?
Well, no, it's... Wow. Wow. Bad be damned, I found a conversation that makes me uncomfortable.
Nice.
I'm sorry that you're uncomfortable. I'm confused.
If you and Brayden proverbial not,
I thought you were the werewolf.
Oh God! I knew it was coming. I just wasn't sure if he was gonna say it.
Fuck!
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I know what that means.
Good.
And if I'm,
Be
if what I'm
glad.
thinking-
Be glad. It was a very, very poor joke.
It was. Be glad you don't understand Gamzee, because
Don't
fuck.
Google it.
No, do not.
I
I slightly hate that I understood that.
You bastard.
I think that actually hurt Nightfall.
Ah.
Yeah, we all took psychic damage.
No, I think like Nightfall
I
took
took
actual
a lot.
damage.
I took a lot of psychic damage. Fuck.
Oi.
well, no,
I've
I'd
been
be
feeling that one for a while.
I'd be the Ursanthrope. Rockham is the lycanthrope.
Right. So, what does that have to do with rings?
Well,
That was so fucking bad, Kit.
You're welcome.
I have no idea how to explain any of this. In my mind, Rockham is just dying laughing.
Oh no, Rockham is just like, you got this, buddy, like Zuko. Yeah.
Is it so hard to say the words husband and wife?
or
Or like
married.
marriage.
Yeah.
It's something that Sockham doesn't think about, so when it comes to mind, he doesn't know how.
I feel like
He doesn't.
I think
When the actual prospect comes to mind, he doesn't know how to address the situation.
so. This is Stockholm being awkward.
Yeah. He talked himself into a corner that he doesn't actually know how to talk himself out of for once.
I mean, eventually you have to say the word.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I think he like starts going, what would be the shift? Like, I guess it would be redder.
Would you compare it to Connie and Pierce?
Yeah, your blood is still red, if that's what you mean.
Would you compare it to like Connie and Pierce?
I think it's like, listen, the point is you're a sister, whatever.
Right, so what were you talking about with rings? I mean, I appreciate the vote of confidence, but do you do this a lot? She looks at Rockham. Does he do this a lot? And Rockham's just nodding. And she just goes like, oi. What about rings?
She's gonna keep circling back to this. Welcome.
It's a thing that you do when you get married.
I have to get married to join the KnightLites?
No, it's steam from ears.jpg.
You're right.
It's like
Why are we talking about getting married? Are you... I'm not particularly... She like looks you up and down. Not that you're not... I'm... flattered. Bit confused.
No. You, when... Assuming you and Braden do, then you will be a proper part of the family. For now, you're a part of the family in the same way that Rashal and Embrick and Avi are.
He squints at you. Has Braden been talking to you about something?
No, I... I'm gonna give up here. I'm giving up here.
Right? Because I feel like the rest of us are just punching on that.
psychic damage. I'm gonna get you back for that psychic damage later.
I don't know what you and your brother have been talking about, but he's certainly not brought up the subject with me.
No, no, he hasn't. I haven't talked to him about this. But shall we say I have what I like calling stupid foresight.
So there's a pause, and she goes, "So you just randomly," and she looks at Rockham, who nods, "decided to imply that Braden and I," and she looks at Rockham again, "were going to get married." Rockham nods. "And you thought the best way to explain this was to take off a ring?"
No, listen, I have something I like calling stupid foresight. I can see it coming sooner or later. It just depends on whether or not I'm wrong.
Nightfall, don't die.
I think she
I died with the first set of psychic damage.
she's like wearing a mask so you can't see the face that she's making, but she says like, "When you get this scroll, if you need some assistance, you can just ask."
Now hold on.
now Rockham is dying.
Now, you're either implying I can't read or I can't cast magic, and I can cast magic.
No, I'm implying that what I'm trying to just that if you have some trouble with advanced context or...
If you're calling me stupid, you can just say it. Lots of people do.
I didn't want to say it in so many words.
An issue that I'm working on.
Sincerely, I have some tutors, some very good tutors. If you like. I'm not using them.
Maybe.
Right? No, the offer to assist with the spell scroll was sincere.
I appreciate it, but I can handle it.
As you like.
Probably.
You see her, like, look down, like Hermione Granger and mouth probably behind her mask. And yeah, you guys get to the yawning portal. It is well past last call at this point.
We did pay for the thing, right? I can't remember.
Pay for what thing?
The rooms at the yawning portal.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So bedtime. Bedtime is nice.
There is certainly a Darren behind the counter, I presume.
No, actually. There is, however, a Durnan sitting at the front table near the portal with a bottle of whiskey and a shot glass.
Wow.
Just walk over. Just walk over. Rough night, Durnan?
Flinches. Sees that Rockham and the Black Viper are with you. Pauses. Something like that.
Well, brought it back just like I promised.
Yeah, you like set the ring on the table. He takes it, puts it on, and you see him like visibly like relax, like exhales. Thanks.
That's what we call a full of hurt.
You
Yeah.
drinking or sleeping?
A little bit of both.
He just
Was actually
passes you the whiskey
wondering-
bottle. Just like
was
presses
actually,
it into your hands.
wondering-
What's up?
But he looks at Darren and he's like, I was also wondering something.
Gonna wait.
Yeah, but it's business.
He sighs, pushes the chair back and stands up, starts to walk behind the counter. What?
How much for a barrel of dwarven ale?
What year?
I don't think that matters.
Cask.
A cask.
What do you mean it doesn't
Isn't
matter?
that the same thing?
No, cask is smaller.
Then correction. Well, you see, it's like making the face like, how do I say this without saying this?
I think Rockham says, it's a key to open a door. Durnan looks at Rockham, looks back at Sockham, looks back at Rockham, looks back at
You are just
Sockham.
an agent of chaos lately.
That's because Kit's at the helm.
Yep.
But
I think
yeah,
Rockham says, lately?
But yeah, kind of that.
So you need booze to pour on a... It doesn't
I
matter
don't
what
know.
year.
I wasn't told a year, so I'm assuming not.
Alright. Who told you?
A magic talking rock.
Yes! Or a giant fish. Either way.
A very nice fish I met.
Durnan squints at you.
Sockham is like visibly making the face of, I really can't talk about this, I'm sorry.
One more word. I don't care what it is. One more word, and I'm kicking you down that hole. Go to bed.
Okay.
That's a and just, okay. So make an athletic check.
Oh shit!
Technically, that was 2 letters.
OKAY is a word, actually.
Aw. Sorry, Gamzee, I tried.
Okay, so what I would like to do for comedy's sake is to just cut to Sockham holding onto the bucket for dear life as it slams down the portal. But since you passed the save, you can tell me what happens.
In my mind, it's not entirely different. It's just, you know those images of like cat people trying to force a cat into a bath.
Oh yeah, so you're just like all four limbs on the mouth of the portal after whatever the fuck Durnan did. Like we don't even see what Durnan did. He just did something.
Yeah, it's just Durnan. Durnan,
Sound
no,
of impact.
It's
no,
just like
no, Durnan, no.
yeah. So we cut to Sockham like clambering out of the portal. Durnan is still behind the bar. He's like setting a shot glass upside down in front of him, like he just took his shot, and he goes, "Bed, don't make me call your mother. I will."
Oh shit! Now that's a threat.
And he doesn't doubt that Durnan is capable. He just walks to bed.
Okay, cool. So you guys head to bed, and almost immediately as you guys walk off screen, here comes Braden and Connie through the door. So you see Durnan with like he's putting the top back on a bottle of whiskey, and he had like turned away to like put it on the shelf, and he just looks up at the door with this like venom on his face, like, how fucking dare you come through my door?
God, just God's damn all of you.
Braden just looks at him, nods, and walks to the room.
Smart boy, smart boy. Connie, what do you do?
I don't mean to pry, but are you alright, Durnan?
Sets the bottle back on the counter, waits for Brayton to get out of sight, and like flicks his hand, like, "Come down here, I'm not shouting."
Mm-hmm.
And you come down to the bar, and he says, "I was mortal for about 3 days, so no."
Blink, blank.
What?
Got it.
You have any idea how hard it is to keep the city safe when you can die?
Well, I've been doing it on a much smaller scale than that, but... Well, I'm glad you got...
The difference
back.
is you're young and hot.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Ooh, you stepping on your girl, Pierce.
No, he's not. He's just calling. Like, Durnan is neither of those things.
And anything I can do to help before I head up? I mean, you got whatever it was back, I'm assuming.
Nods. For the most part.
Alright.
Unless you could give me some years back.
Can't do that, I'm afraid. Sorry.
Fair warning, someone's in your room.
Looks like me, I'm assuming?
Oh? No, some halfling.
Halfling.
Yeah. Got a weird, like, skull hood thing. Never seen him before.
Thanks.
He nods.
Does this description ring any bells?
No, because you
Something
didn't
like
see the necromancer before Tristan torched it.
Oh, that's lovely.
But yeah, no, Connie has no idea.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think she's gonna, like, catch up to Braden.
Okay.
So apparently there's someone in my room, a halfling with a skull hood.
Looks
Actually.
back at her, pulls a rapier and goes to the room. Just no
Fuck
words.
you for the music shift kit.
Oh, it didn't take. Balls. Boop. There you go. What, you don't like my music shifts?
No, that just hit me. Oh.
Sorry, I think.
No, you're good.
Is it playing?
Yes. I
No,
hear
it's
it.
not. No, it is not.
No, I can hear it.
It's going for me.
It's not
It's
playing on my side,
variable.
so... Fuck it, I'll go back to this. I like this one. There we go. So, yeah, so you open the room, you try to handle the door, it's unlocked, but you're open, and just, like, sitting at the desk is Tristan. And he looks over, and he says, "Well, it's something problem."
Oh, thank
fuck.
God.
Braden just looks in the room, looks back at Tristan, halfling with a skull hood.
Oh, I can't walk around on the street.
Okay. Thank goodness. Okay.
I know exactly what he did, and I hate it.
Right?
I also know exactly what he did.
He told you he could do it!
Yes, but also, like... I know.
It's not important, trust me.
It's like the realization comes over Braden. It's like, oh, the thing with it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Face change. Puts rapier away.
We were ready for an ambush here.
An ambush that told Donan that you had a guest. That's a very poor ambush, Dove.
I mean,
Yeah,
no,
well,
God,
things have been
enough
crazy
God.
the last few days.
Good night, Braden.
Good night, Braden.
Good night. Just, like, goes to his room.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted. I'm assuming there's like a changing screen in here somewhere.
Probably. If not, Tristan will have the decency to cast invisibility on you.
PJs, bed.
I was hoping we could take a moment, Dove, but as you like.
She's not like passed out just yet. She's just
Yeah.
like, I would like to sit down. I've been on my feet all day.
Yeah, right? Sure.
Right. So yeah, she rubs her eyes, sits on the bed, like comfy, cozy PJs.
Yeah. Tristan, like, turns the chair around and sits in it like Will Riker.
Right.
He says, what are you going to be doing after this stone business?
After the vault, plan was to study medicine for a few years, and then go back to the village and train an apprentice.
I expected you to go off on some adventure.
People keep saying that.
Well, you are Sergei's,
True.
and you are here. It's got to count for something.
That's also true.
You've got plenty of time to put down roots, Dove. But I think it's about time I do it. I'd just like to do it somewhere nearby.
Well, I'll be here for a few years is the plan.
Are you hanging up the adventurer's mantle? Because, let me tell you, there's always another crisis. There's always another horizon. There's always tomorrow. Unless you make the choice to stop.
I suppose that choice is going to have to wait until said crisis.
I'm
Though I agree, since we got here, we've been on go.
I'm sure you don't want this old fossil following you around. You didn't leave because I came back, right?
Of course not.
Just
No, more so I just don't want to pin you somewhere you don't want to be.
Well, I admit I'm far from the 10 hours of labor in a field for a bowl of gruel type. If you are, that's where I want to be. I don't know if you're more like me or more like your mother, and I'm not sure which one is better.
Well, you'd have to be the judge of that, because
I want to be part
just
of your
kinda, like,
life,
shrugs.
Dove.
Hmm?
I want to be a part of your life, Dove. I want you to be a part of mine, which leads me to a bit of a stronger point.
Go on.
I want to forget Amelia. Not what she gave me, and you, for that matter, but the circumstances. And, well, you know as well as I do, we, and those like us, have a very specific means of doing that. But I want it to be someone you approve of.
I see. Out of character, I don't see what.
As Talus and Jaffe will tell you, tieflings love vigorously, I will say.
Okay.
And Tristan has been mourning Amelia for several years. So what he's saying is like, I want to get out there so that I can forget, but I don't.
Gotcha.
But I'm not. A, I'm not replacing Amelia, and B, I don't want you to hate who might turn out to be your stepmom.
Right.
In shorter words, he wants to move on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
he's been mourning Amelia for however long Connie's alive.
No, he hasn't because he didn't know she was dead until he got back.
But a few years now,
Yeah.
and now he's ready to get out and
Like he wants to
something,
be involved
plenty
in
of fish.
Connie's life, but Connie can't help him in every way that he needs help.
right.
So
Yeah. No. Okay. Do you have someone specific in mind?
no, I wanted your permission first. I haven't been
Of
looking.
course.
Though, ironically, when you said that, the first person who came to mind was, well, Viviette Avero.
Blink. Blink.
That ship has sailed, but since you asked,
Really? Like, she seems puzzled by that one. Okay.
you had to get my taste from somewhere, Dove.
Hey,
Or your taste from somewhere, you get what I mean.
Right.
Again, ship has sailed, and that would make things awkward for you and Percival, but it was just the first thought that came to my mind. I don't know, there's plenty of people here. Or, again, wherever you decide to roam, providing you want me along. I don't think I should petition to join the KnightLites, per se. It's time for you to have your stories, whatever those are. Just wouldn't mind hearing about them now and again.
I wouldn't mind telling them. And I'm sure there's going to be instances where we ask for your help because, oh boy, we've gotten in over our heads sometimes.
I'm proud to be of service. And, well, hopefully I am always the superhero that you see me to be. Though, if I were to fall, helping you with your adventures, I can't think of much better ways to go. Tristan Serges is not going to die in his bed, that's for certain.
Not if I can help it. That could be taken a couple of ways. Doctor, right.
It's fine. On a personal note, the, sewers, like, gestures out the window.
Mm-hmm.
I felt my age more than a little. I'll be honest. I almost didn't get away with that.
Gotcha.
Granted, I'm used to having Tankin in front of me, but still.
Yeah. That was a pretty close call when I think about it. With the mummy rot and all. And the fucking slod.
He laughs. Oh, well, yes. No, the mummy rot was secondary. I took a couple of hard hits while you were distracted. I've, been patching myself up, resting, replying frustrated. I didn't want to worry you, but, yeah, I think I've still got a few bruised ribs.
I've got some spell slots left if you need me to. And she's like
Wave
doctor
off.
mode.
Save them, Dove. You never know what might happen. Dragon might attack the bloody city. I'm fine, for the most part. Just, I don't believe in. I've never believed in keeping things from you. You know that. I have made my peace with sacrifice for the good of the realm, or my realm, in this case. And I think it would be better if you made your peace with it now, instead of when you have to pull the rest of the KnightLites out of the fire. It's what I would want. If you'll have me.
See, Tristan has this habit of saying things in a way that I'm having a really hard time parsing.
He's a bard with 20 charisma. What do you want?
Right?
He said, I want you to accept me dying now, because if we spend a lot of time together, that's probably how I'm gonna go out, and you need to be focused in that moment.
I mean, I'd rather avoid that if at all possible, but...
Of course. But I would rather avoid a lot of things that came to pass. Many that you don't know about.
I don't know how to answer that. I mean...
And, like, takes his hat off and, like, runs a finger through his hair. And you see that, like, he's got some gray in his hair. He says, I'm just saying, Yes, I'm Tristan Seargaze. Alright, fair. But I'm also a man who has seen a great deal and now just wants his daughter to be happy. And if adventuring is to be the family calling, so be it. And if you call on me for help, I will gladly give it. But for me, if what we would prefer to happen does not happen, make your peace now while things are quiet, so that 1 does not become 3. Your brothers aren't the most level-headed, Dove, you know that.
Oh, I know. And I'm not either, given...
Comparatively, you've always been. I know what I'm asking you is unthinkable. And if I had been around for more of your firsts, you would understand that... Call it a quirk of our lineage, or the way that our peoples choose to raise us. But pragmatism, and to a degree gratification, are important to us, to me. And it is better in the long run, in the scheme of things, to accept that we might be driven apart again. And to deal with whatever comes from that while we can, and savor it. And then, if the trap clicks or the dragon exhales, it's easier. And you can do what you have to do. Those moments are what makes a hero. And you, Constance, you are a hero. Even if you don't feel like it yet.
I don't feel like a hero. I feel like I feel like a minnow in a lake full of aboleth, and
He chuckles. Well, then you're in luck because they're not looking for you. Food chain, dear.
of course.
Bigger things to worry about.
I understand your point. But I am going to teach you about metaphors later.
I'm the one that.
What?
No, I was about to say, wasn't that a simile, but
It's poetry, and you need help with that.
either way, I'll give what you said a think, but it's not something you can just come to grips with overnight.
I think after a pause, Tristan says, I did.
Oh. Yeah, she gives him this look like this pained look, like, oh.
I don't say these things to judge you, Dove. You are not at fault. If anything, I am at fault for not trying harder, but I admit there was a time that I thought perhaps the fist was right. And I made peace with things that perhaps I never should, and perhaps it is wrong to ask you to. But I can only do what I believe is right. In the same way that I encourage you to chase these adventures if you want to have them. I know. At some point, you're going to be drinking with your comrades, or receiving a medal from the crown, or something, and I'm not going to be there. And you're going to have to smile and address the room, and conduct yourself accordingly. Does that make you a liar? Yes. But this world needs liars. And who better than a devil, hmm?
Nice.
I never was a very good liar.
Come now, you're a seer gaze. The first thing I ever said to your mother was a lie.
What was it?
She said, "Are you drunk?" And I said, "Of course I'm drunk. I can't find my own feet." She was beautiful. I'll have you know I hadn't had so much as a drop that day. Now, the day before, I'll grant you.
Well, if you weren't drunk, why did you tell her you were? Tell her you were.
So that she would take me home and help me clean up.
Cheeky.
It worked. You're proof of that.
Blink, blink.
Aww.
No, not then. I mean, eventually.
Ah. Oh.
I don't think I ever asked you.
Hmm?
Were you happy with your grandmother?
Pretty happy, yeah.
Did you need answers that she couldn't give you?
In retrospect, I think it was more answers that she wouldn't. But
She warmed to me eventually. Granted, it took her daughter having a swelled belly, but we got there. Alright, I'm going to be honest with you, Dove. If I never have to pick up a farming tool again, I will be so happy.
yeah, that's fair. Farming is pretty tedious.
My skills are wasted on turning earth. I grant you, my time with the fist did me no favors, but I still blame the farm work for how long it took me to be able to play a lute again. You'd think I'd be sick of potatoes by now.
Why? Potatoes are delicious.
I agree with you, however, harvesting them...
Yeah, harvesting them is a pain. As for Grandma, if it assuages your fears at all, I never felt unloved with her.
Tristan nods slowly. That's something, at least. I think you should decide with your siblings what you intend to do after you find the vault, where you intend to go, and make that decision before you open the bloody door. Because if you do find this vault, there's no going back from that. Your names are in the wind. An adventure will find you.
She like nods like she's taking that in.
But it's late, and you're going to be down for a while, I imagine. I'll go and talk to Darren about a room. I'll see you in a few days, stuff.
Alright. Dad? I love you.
He smiles.
Good night.
And I you, Dove. Though, sometimes I wonder if you know what that means better than I do. He opens the door and steps out. Let's see, who is due back at the portal? Lawrence is due back at the portal. Are you going to the portal, Lawrence, or are you going to your apartment?
Oh, heck. No, I thought I was accompanying, Vajra back to the Blackstaff Tower because she's exhausted.
Yeah, but you're not going to sleep there.
Oh, no. But
Where are
let's
you?
see what's closer.
So, are you going to the portal, or are you going to your apartment?
Oh, smart money would be Portal. It's closer.
No, your apartment's closer.
It isn't?
No, but you do know that she that Merc is going to be turning that place over.
Yeah. Probably the portal.
Okay. So I think as you're coming in, you see Tristan, like, sitting at the bar alone. He's, like, paid for a room, paid for a drink, and Durnan has fucked off. So you come in, it's, like, it's late. It's almost morning, it's so late. And yeah, you see...
It's basically, like, false dawn.
Not quite that late, but it's, like,
But it's getting there.
Yeah, the span of time before false dawn.
Okay, so it's probably, like, 2-ish, 2:30
Exactly,
in the morning.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Even for me, and I'm well rested as a result of
You starting to feel...
dawn
Yeah.
being gone.
Yep. You come in, and yeah, you see Tristan sitting in the dark, drinking some whiskey. Probably scotch, knowing him. Actually, brandy, knowing him.
And Lawrence spots Tristan.
Yeah.
Figures, what the hell, why not? Then goes down to join him for a second.
Yeah. Tristan stirs when you sit down, and he, like, flicks a finger, and a candle on the wall lights.
And Lawrence smiles a little bit. He goes, nice.
You're up late.
Yes, well, bit of hubbub with Archmage Safar.
I'll be heading to the tower tomorrow.
Oh, what a day. What a night.
Everyone interesting is already in bed. He pours another shot of whiskey. Or brandy, not whiskey.
Yep. Lawrence nods to himself a little bit.
Like, he takes the shot, and then he pours another one and, like, offers it to you.
I mean, given that Lawrence has been told you are not going to work tomorrow, he definitely takes the shot.
Okay. It's expensive brandy.
I mean, I've had very good brandy, so I'm probably... Yeah. Lawrence is probably just as appreciative, like, oh, wow, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, of course Tristan has good taste. Like, it's Tristan. Like,
goddamn right.
Yeah, he takes the shot glass back and sets it down. And he says, unless you want some company.
No, I just saw you sit down here by yourself. I wanted to check and make sure you were okay.
No, I'm not. But I'm getting better.
All we can do is keep putting one foot in front of the other, right?
Which is exactly the opposite of Tristan's put down roots talk. So he says, like, absolutely. So I think like I'm gonna make a deception check for Tristan, but there is a chance, depending on what I roll, that an insight check won't even do anything. Because just so you know, this man has plus 13 to deception.
Oh, I figured as much.
So if you want to roll insight, you can. However, the number. Oh, okay, yeah, you might actually beat this. He didn't roll very good.
I'll roll insight then.
Rolled better than that, though.
I figured.
So without missing a beat, Tristan says, precisely, there's always more to do. Don't want to grow moss. You don't think anything of it. Like, it's just, he's a bard. He's a very good bard.
Yep. And Lawrence just shrugs a little bit and says, well, I don't plan to do, well, I would say I wasn't going to plan to travel, but given my profession, it's going to seem to be necessary.
Taking a journeyman's challenge, then.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Not quite sure where to start, if I'm honest, but...
The vault.
After that...
Well, I don't know much about smiths, but I do know about culture. And if I were you, and I wanted to cut my teeth, I would find a dwarf. And if you don't have one in mind, that means you go to a dwarf hold.
Haven't really dealt with many dwarves. At least, not here in Waterdeep.
They're here, but they're reclusive this far south.
I think the foreman on Trollskull Manor is one, but that's beside the point. I've never been to a dwarf hold, so...
They're hard to find.
But it sounds intriguing, and I could certainly learn something.
I believe the High Forges of Gontlegrim are near here. Well, I say near. You're looking at a several days' walk.
Sounds intriguing in and of itself.
I don't know if they'll let you in. They certainly won't let me in.
And Lawrence kind of smiles a little bit. Then he says, "Fair point, but until you ask, the answer is always no, isn't it?"
Sometimes it's better to just do it and then ask.
Fair enough.
That sounds like a Tristan answer. Oof.
He pours another shot of brandy. Bend down the hole. Throws it back. Puts the cup back on the counter.
Mark shakes his head. Not yet. Turner wouldn't let us go down.
That's probably some interesting smith work down there.
I have to admit, it's a little terrifying.
Well, go on. I'm not going to tell him.
I'd rather not piss off Durnan, thank you.
Again, I'm not going to tell him. Skullport opens on the ocean. I think you only have to go down 25 levels.
And Lawrence gives Tristan a look. He does the whole squint look like Durnan does.
Right.
Like, you would know that.
What? Normally I go to Skullport from the ocean, but yeah, so? I say normally, I haven't been to Skullport in years. Haven't been to Waterdeep in years. Not since the whole debacle with Daggold.
That must be a very, very interesting story. I've only heard bits and pieces from Rainier, so, well, and whatever you hear around.
Suffice to say, he deserved it.
Oh, I'm not doubting that in the slightest.
I could tell you who some of the Master Lords are, because we needed their help to depose the bastard.
I've got my suspicions.
You're probably wrong.
But I've got my guesses, but I'd rather not get a fireball in the face, among other things.
Who do you think is a Master Lord that can fireball you?
And Lawrence kind of just eyes the brandy, considers asking for another drink, and he thinks better of it. He says, "Archmage so far?"
I said Master Lords.
Oh, Master Lords. I thought you said
Masked Lords.
Oh,
Hidden Lords, yeah.
Yeah, and just...
Of course the Bloody Blackstaff is a Lord of Waterdeep.
And Lawrence shrugs a little bit. He says,
I thought you were going to say Durnan.
He's on my list too, and I'm just scared he's going to shoot me out of nowhere.
Durnan helped us, but to see him talk to the others... No, I don't think Durnan is a Master Lord. I think he's something else entirely.
Somehow that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But...
And before you say it, no, I'm not a Lord of Waterdeep. I was offered.
And Lawrence just gives him a look and he says, "Yeah, that makes sense. You don't seem the type."
Don't I?
too much trouble. More trouble than it's worth.
It's worth a great deal. No, I had something else in mind.
Out of character question.
Mm-hmm.
Refresh my memory. Did they find the crypt and all the cash
Yes.
before I got snagged?
Yes.
Okay. Then so Lawrence, makes a point of looking out towards where the city of the dead was.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like that crypt out there.
Not what I was going to say, but yes. I have... You're going to be traveling with the others, yes?
Of course. Someone has to keep an eye on them.
Precisely what I wanted you to say. Of course, another shot of brandy. If there's 3 pieces of advice I could give you.
Of course.
If a cave looks clean, run. Second piece of advice. If the kobolds run deeper into the cave, turn around. Third piece of advice. There's always more goblins. Hello?
They learned that first lesson in Our Little Adventure.
And Lawrence is just nodding along. He says, somehow I feel like that's more than just personal experience.
I don't want you to die in those ways. He takes the shot.
And Lawrence nods and says, I don't intend on dying. At least not yet. But
No one intends on dying yet.
a fair point.
He, looks around the dark room, pulls the collar of his shirt down a little bit. You see he's got bandages across his chest. Damn near died saving you, boy.
And Lawrence nods and, he's a little bit ashamed in the first place. But, again, it's the self-recrimination coming back.
Mm.
But he says, I can pay Durant's fee if you want me to fix that.
No, I can fix it myself.
I can at least save you the effort.
Waves a
Cast
hand.
magic in the middle of the night is Durning gonna fucking.
Yes, he's gonna
He
know. He's
probably
Durnan.
would.
Tristan waves it off. He's like, no, it's fine. Just, I'm not as young as I used to be. Suppose I'm feeling it. Looking at how all of you have grown. Hi, Nightfall.
Hey, sorry.
Sleepy bitch.
Hey.
Lawrence just sighs a little bit. Says, you ever thought of retiring? Not. Then he waves out, like he's gesturing distantly to Amber Ridge. Not Amber Ridge. And I assume this place isn't be your taste, but just settling down, writing a memoir, being the bard you are for the rest of your day.
I did retire. I had a lovely wife and a bouncing baby girl. And then some bloody zealots took it from me.
Don't imagine you're going to stay in the game, as it were. Tristan, I know you're going to worry about Connie.
I'm not
But I give
worried
you
about.
my word.
I'm not worried about her, Florence. She's more capable than I'll ever be, and she's got so much potential. Do not mistake Selfishness for fear. To put it bluntly. And you see his horns seem to grow out a little bit when he says that. I'm not done with her.
And Lawrence just nods. Oh. He is not going to question it because it's Tristan. Fair enough. But no matter what, we will all look after each other.
I believe that.
And if anyone else goes down, then it's because I'm not there to stop them. And I will do whatever I can, whatever it takes, to make sure everyone else is okay.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Puts the top back on the bottle. Can you make a wisdom saving throw for me, please?
Oh, fuck.
I need to triple check and make sure he has the spell.
Aaron's gonna know.
He doesn't. I didn't take the spell on him. So you don't need to actually make that save.
Oh, cool.
What was it?
Suggestion.
You don't have suggestion on him? Wow.
He doesn't need it.
Yeah, he
I was
doesn't
gonna
need it.
say,
You
I'm
just
kinda
talk
surprised.
people into it.
Yeah, so I think he puts the cap
He
on
casts
the
suggestion every time he opens his mouth.
right. Yeah, I think he just puts the cap on the bottle, and he leans back, and he says, "You've been here a while, yeah?"
Going on about 5 years.
Order of the Gauntlet still got a presence here.
Unfortunately.
You wouldn't happen to know their address, would you?
And Lawrence tilts his head. And would I actually know that off the top of my head?
I mean, no, but maybe not like the number, but yeah, you'd know where they are.
And he tilts his head. He says, over in, he mentions the general area.
That's what I figured. Was it a base, or was it a guild hall, or what?
What is it actually? It's just a garrison.
It's a small garrison.
Lawrence shrugs. Just a small garrison. Not thinking about going and do something stupid, are you?
Not at all. I'm just going to go stretch my legs for a bit. He's already standing up.
Drunken, angry tiefling. Just that garrison's gonna be burned out in the morning.
Lawrence, stands up, leans on his hammer a little bit. He says, "Should I ready some bail money?"
You only need bail if you're getting caught, Lawrence. Pats you on the shoulder, stumbles a little bit toward the stairs.
I'm not going to stop you, because I don't think I could anyway. But be careful.
I want to give a dumb idea to the DM.
If not for my sake, then for Connie's.
I want to give a real dumb idea to the GM.
Go on. I was responding
Oh,
to
please
something in chat.
don't.
What's up?
When he does this, he kills someone and then runs away screaming as one of the dudes.
Yes, I am aware of Tristan's abilities. Thank you.
Just
So yeah, Lawrence, if you don't stop him, he's just gonna amble up the stairs and out into the night.
Lawrence is gonna think about it for a second and then go up behind Tristan, just you don't want to do this. Not in the state you're in.
And stops and turns around. His eyes are backlit under his hood, or under his hat rather, and he says, Of the two of us, Lawrence, you really don't want to be doing this. He does know
Lawrence-
thaumaturgy, if not suggestion.
Oh, I know. And Lawrence sighs a little bit. He says, Tristan, for her sake, if no one else's.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Oh boy.
Oh,
You gonna get smacked the fuck up.
good
I
luck.
might.
Good luck.
You said persuasion?
Persuasion? Yep, persuasion with disadvantage. Okay.
The dice haven't been kind to me all night.
So, I think it is fair that this is a test of wills. So I'm going to give Tristan a charisma saving throw against that number. I think that's fair.
Tristan's also drunk, so.
Yeah.
But he's
Ah.
also Tristan Heckin Seargaze.
So,
True.
I rolled a 27.
Oh, so you're nat 20 to that bitch.
I didn't actually.
Holy shit.
No. Plus 13.
So I think he just like glares at you slightly, and you like grabbed his arm, right?
But Lawrence probably stopped himself from doing so.
Okay.
Just
So I think he turns around fully, and he like puts his hand on the handrail, and it like smokes slightly under his fingers, and he says, "Well, that's precisely why I have to do this," and starts to go back up the stairs again.
and Lawrence sighs. And he follows Tristan until he can get ahead of him.
So on the street, so he gets up the stairs, out the door, you go out the door, and then you like jog in front of him. Okay. As soon as you get in front of him, he goes, "You don't want to do this."
No, I particularly don't. But for your sake, someone's got to change your mind.
How many hit points do you have? Just out of curiosity.
Oh hell!
Oh no.
Like a percentage of your max is what I'm asking.
Oh, I've got 45.
Out of what?
45.
So you're
I've
full.
got full health.
You're
I've
full.
got, yeah, I'm full.
That's what I was asking. Okay. So you're like, somebody's gotta like knock you out of this.
Well, no, it's less that and more just like, God damn it, Tristan, stop being a dumbass.
Okay. Fuck me. Alright. What is your spell save DC, Tristan? I need to check this. Okay. And what is the save? Okay. So, this is great because you're a cleric now.
Yep.
But, so Tristan is going to use Words of Terror on you.
Oh, goody.
And what that means is you have to make a wisdom saving throw. He's gonna like monologue at you for a minute, and then when that's done, if you fail this save, you are frightened for an hour. You cannot approach, you cannot attack, you cannot do anything except move away.
Fuck. All right.
So I think, yeah, you get in front of me, like, somebody's got to snap you out of this. And he just, like, looks at you, and he says, "And it's going to be you. I remind you that we saved your life tonight. If it wasn't for me, you'd be a smear on the pavement. And now, you're making me question that decision. I like you, Lawrence, your family, but you do not want to stand on that side of my sword. I've slayed dragons, I've slayed Illithid, and bigger men than you. Stand down. Don't make me hurt you." Make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, boy.
That is a
Yeah,
fail.
no.
That is a fail. Despite
That one.
despite your new wisdom score, that is a fail. So you are You are supernaturally frightened of Tristan Seargaze for the next hour.
So what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do?
And Lord swallows hard, and he bows his head in yield.
You cannot speak, you cannot attack, you cannot approach. What do you do?
He probably still, does the head bow and yield, and he steps aside.
Okay, and Tristan just walks past, knowing that the spell worked. He just walks on.
Because
The good
worth-
news is when he breaks line of sight, it fades.
Ah, shit. But if I were to get back into line of sight, it kicks back in, yes?
Correct. Yep, you are supernaturally frightened for the next hour.
Shit. Alright,
I can think of a few
How long
suggestions.
does
Sorry, what? What did you...
Gracie said something first.
I said I can think of a few suggestions.
I mean, my first thought was run in and go to Gracie's room. go to Connie's room.
Okay. What were you
Just
gonna say, Pierce?
How long does it take to cross the city to where the gauntlet is by foot?
Like a while. He's probably not gonna go by foot.
How long does it take to platinum your way to where he's
Yeah, right. Probably like 20 minutes. And that's providing he goes straight there. Like, he might just be wondering.
He might end up dropping by a couple late night apothecaries. Get the components get components for a big boy bomb.
Right?
Stop giving the GM ideas.
Again, this is like he's not. Like, this is all thought that I've already had. So it's fine. So, Lawrence, if you want to go get Connie, like, the thing about it is Connie has started a long rest, which means she's taking all that exhaustion.
You could go wake them. You could go wake the motherfucker that seems capable of surviving anything.
Who is also currently dealing with exhaustion.
You can go
Okay.
piss off Vernon.
What?
Exhaustion.
That's true. You could go piss off Durnan.
Exhaustion
Who
or
do you
not?
think I was talking about?
Oh, I thought you meant you. Honestly,
No. Yeah, I can tank 2 fireballs. Durnan can say, "Fuck your fireball, I didn't feel anything."
Durnan also hasn't slept in 3 days. To be fair,
Exhaustion or not, Connie would definitely want to hear about this.
you can't move with 4 levels of exhaustion, can you?
No, you cannot. Your
Oh,
speed
it's
is
5
zero.
levels. of exhaustion, you can't move.
I thought 5
No,
was you were
it's-
unconscious.
If you're unconscious, 4 you cannot move.
Yeah, that's why I said 4. You can't move. Yeah.
Okay.
So that means at this point.
No, hold on. No, 4 is your hit point maximum is halved.
Okay. So at this point, Rock, Sock, and Connie would all be afflicted by the exhaustion debuff.
But not Braden.
They're not Brayton, that's true.
In that case,
Oh, 5 cannot move, but if you push yourself further to 6, you just die.
Yes.
I say we just let the man do what he gonna do. He's a grown ass adult.
Who is
I'm
also
not
doing
a fan
some
of
shit at the moment.
The gauntlet.
Tristan is pissed,
Flaming.
drunk, and on the warpath. So
And you can't do
not a
about
good recipe, not a good recipe right there.
He's a grown ass adult. He'll feel guilty later.
And grown-up
So
adults can make bad decisions.
yeah,
I can
Right
assure
here.
you that no matter what happens with Tristan Dillon, he will not feel bad later. I promise you that.
it's the he needed kill in defense.
I didn't say I was going to feel bad about it. I just
No.
said it's a bad decision.
Gamzee said he'd feel bad about it.
Ah.
A lot of things can come from this. Tristan feeling bad and remorseful is not one of them.
So at that point, Lawrence is thinking, "Crap, who can I get?" Connie's probably wiped. Brayden, he's fast, and so he runs in. Goes to Brayden's room. Knocks
Okay,
on the door.
so serious question.
Mm.
Is Zvile with you?
Did...
I mean, if we like did come to the place.
As Ville came to the portal, yeah, that's what I'm asking.
The thought came to mind like the two of us were going out to go a heist or something.
I mean, I was thinking either that or you're in the middle of one.
Funny. Well, we also haven't had like time to just like go out and talk about shit for a while.
Yeah, but you're also like you are pushing exhaustion to like one level, like for you guys, but still like. I'm just wondering, like, is this Ville in there?
Probably, aye.
Okay, so yeah, so Lawrence, you knock on the door and you hear. I'm not gonna do it partially because I can't, but it's a noise of frustration that only a young woman can make.
The frustrated half groan, half grunt of. "Argh!"
Yes. And yeah, so, and then Brayden, like, yeah, you hear someone knocking at the door.
Aye. And Brayden just rolls his eyes, is like, okay, 1 second, and like goes to the door, fully
Yeah.
kitted out, opens it, it's like.
Oh, are you fully kitted out? I was gonna say you were like, I was gonna say like you had like a pair of trousers on. That was like,
I was gonna say heart-shaped boxers.
yeah, right. But if you want to be fully kitted out, that's fine. I'm not gonna argue. Like,
So they really were preparing for a heist.
yeah, right. So yeah, you push open the door, and yeah, as Ville is like
The persistent bonking sound was in fact Isvila trying to get her boots on.
right. I love the idea that Brayden opens the door and Isvili is like knelt on the floor, because you expect to see something saucy, right? But Isvili is like knelt on the floor in a ring of candles, looking at like a map of the city, and she looks up in her Black Viper outfit, and she's just like, "Yes, Lawrence, how can we help you?"
And Lawrence just face palms. Last layer. It's Tristan. He's gonna go do something really stupid.
Looks back at his Vila, it's like, let a shrug of like, I need to get rid of this.
You know what?
I think Isvila in Thieves' Cant, she just says, "Why?"
Pseudo father.
He's
I
the
know what
hero
he's
of the
like.
city. They're not going to arrest him.
Yeah, you're right. They won't arrest him. They'll do worse.
I mean, Lawrence is watching this because he doesn't, because he knows Brayden's Thieves' Camp.
Yes,
but
this is Brayden's Thieves' Cant. Yeah, this is Brayden's Thieves' Cant.
And you know, Lawrence, for old time's sake, I know he's rusty, but it's he'll probably jump in with. He's going to piss off the what's the Gauntlet?
Order of the Gauntlet, yeah.
He's going to go piss off the Order of the Gauntlet.
Okay, they'll do worse than what I was thinking.
So it really looks back down at the map for a second, looks back up, and then she switches back to common because Lawrence responded. She goes, "There's nothing there. Let him."
To garrison.
And
And he looks like a tiefling if he gets caught. Then
Property damage?
Yes, property damage. Brayden, they're gods. They're city gods. If he kills them, that's better for us.
And then we have to bail him out.
If he gets caught.
And he's also drunk and really pissed off, so he ain't thinking straight.
You neglected to mention that part.
Puts a hand to his face. It's like you're also missing the other thing that would come from this.
Which
You
is?
forget Connie. They know about Connie. The city knows about her. He pisses off the fist. They're going to come after her.
And she's standing up. All right, fine. Are we stopping him or are we helping him?
Preferably stop.
I tried, and he does a little bit of hand wiggle to signify, like he's kind of
Magical fuckery.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye, you also didn't think about the consequences of what he was doing.
I had to at least try.
I mean, I'm not doubting you for that one.
Right. I'm sorry, if my vote has any matter at all, I don't want to stop him. This is good for us.
Aye, for us, and he like gestures between the two of them. Not so good for my sister. I went to say something there, but I'm pretty sure I'd get smacked for it.
Smacked by SVLA or smacked by me?
Yeah, smacked by SVLA.
I would love to hear what. Go ahead.
I'm not actually saying this in character, but I was like going to say to her, I know you're not exactly one for family, but.
Wow.
No, I
Yeah.
think that would be understood between the two of you. I think that's okay. But anyway, so SVLA's like, she's nodding. It's like, all right. Question: how are we going to stop him?
Like, pretty much explain what I just said, because I don't think he realizes that the fists know about Connie.
Wait, what?
I might not
Right.
understand why precisely you care, Brayden, but I do understand what drunk old men think like. That's not going to do any good.
Ah.
We're going to stop him. We should be effective. Bonking him over the head and throwing him in a sack, perhaps?
Yeah, that would work, but I'd rather use that as like last-ditch effort.
But do you think you can talk to him?
I sincerely hope he would listen, yes.
Brayden. Remind me to tell you what your brother thinks of us. But for right now, let me say, you're not the verbose one.
I know that.
So let's get the one who is. Where's Sockham's room?
Down the hall, but he's also suffering from...
Is this not an emergency?
It is, but...
She's already, like, moving towards the door. Excuse me, Lawrence.
Fuck around and find out. Let's go.
Lawrence thinks about it, and you know, he glances at Brayden.
Sockham's currently suffering from magical bullshit. In more
Do
ways
you
than one.
honestly think you can talk down Tristan Bloody Seargaze? If you were wrong, then we're all caught. I don't want to take that chance.
If I'm wrong, you can smack him over the back of the head to knock him out.
I'm not strong enough to knock him out. He's a hero. I'm good, but I'm not that good.
And Lawrence just looks at his hammer like, you want it? And you know, he holds it out.
What's next? You're going to ask me to give Lord Mert a wedgie?
As funny as that would be.
I would pay several dragons to say that, but...
And also, I remind you, he has a tail. For all I know, the damn thing is a blade.
He did threaten us with that at some point.
I think she's like, you can roll athletics or acrobatics to stop her if you want, Trace, but she's gonna try to duck under Lawrence's arm with an acrobatics check.
What'd you say, athletics or...
Acrobatics, either one. She rolled a 9. Good for you, Isvile. Okay. So she, like, goes to duck under your arm, and you just, like, drop your arm, and she bumps into you, and she makes a little grumbling noise.
And, you know, Lawrence grumbles back a little bit. It's like, just... don't want to hurt him. I just want to stop him from doing something really stupid.
Precisely, and if you need someone who is persuasive, then use the Goliath!
Who is currently out of commission?
Well, no. I'm just exhausted.
You're exhausted. You're sick.
It's an emergency.
Also, not fast enough.
Carriage. There are things called carriages in this city.
And he can take one too.
Exactly.
But will he platinum it?
At the very least, he can wait in the carriage, and then if we need someone to talk to Tristan, there we go. It's a good plan.
Lawrence gives Brayden another look like, are we gonna roll with this?
Sockum is more persuasive.
He's better than the two of us.
Lawrence just sighs.
Brayden, you are wonderful, but you cannot talk down anyone, especially not when they're drunk. Case in point, this conversation.
Lawrence just sighs and steps aside.
She's
Fine.
like, yeah,
Wanna go-
steps out into the hall, goes down the hall. So, Socky boy, Sockum, Sockum Zumar.
Is the Gamzee awake?
I got some bad news for you, dog.
I feel like death.
So,
You rolled me in a bad way, dude.
so have you ever been so sick that you can't physically move?
Yes.
Imagine that, but you're also insomnic.
Oh God!
I have had that entire experience before.
That is what Rock, Sock, and Connie are all experiencing right now.
What? How much exhaustion do we have?
You have 4 levels. And but it's not just that you have 4 levels, you can't long rest.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought it was we got 3.
And then you can't long rest tonight, which makes it 4. So you're sitting there begging a kobold to break through the window and hit you with a giant mallet when you hear a knock at the door. Not only do you hear a knock at the door, but all Rockham can manage is a and a weak pillow throw at the door.
Just leave. Fuck. Go away. I'm trying to sleep.
Sockum, saving face as he always tries to.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're decent. I can't see.
The door opens. You see light from the hallway. You see somebody come in. You hear a voice that you vaguely recognize, and then you realize that it's the Black Viper. Say, did I wake you?
Luckily not.
Wonderful. There's a situation.
Oh, good. Help me out, would you?
I don't think
Lord.
that I can.
I mean, Lawrence is probably right behind her anyway.
Okay.
So, he reaches out to take Sock's hand, just try and pull him up.
Rockham is burrowing himself into the blankets. As Riley says,
Sorry, guys.
so, Tiamat is attacking the North Ward, and, we need all the KnightLites on deck.
And Lawrence is giving her a look like, really? Really?
Rockham is trying to, summon Caro, and he can't make the hand gesture to do it.
He's doing he's basically doing half the hand gesture, and
Yeah.
he's just, nope, I'm done.
Exactly.
I think Sockum just does this. Okay, cool. So what's actually happening?
Tristan is going to burn down the Order of the Gauntlet's headquarters.
Okay, very funny. What's actually happening?
Yeah, no, that's actually what he's trying to do.
Oh, fantastic.
And you can see where that's a problem.
And
So
the reason that we woke you, debonair leader of the KnightLites, is because Brayden suggested that Brayden go and talk to him.
Brayden, no.
No.
Brayden has a better chance of talking to him than Soccer does in this state.
Fucking hell!
Soccer is getting on all ability checks right now.
Yes, he does. Here's the thing: Brayden has a charisma of 6.
Brayden. Brayden. You got a girlfriend because Braden, you got a girlfriend because you have a shared interest, not because of your honeysuckle words, dude.
Wow, well done.
Cool.
Question.
First of
Thanks, nice
all,
to know.
first of
Thanks,
all,
nice to know you have enough faith in me as we do, and you keep your mouth shut.
first of all,
Question.
I have a thing for tusks. Second of all, get up.
I has a question.
I'm trying.
Can Connie hear any of this because she's
No.
also insomnic, or is she?
No, you're down the hall a bit.
Okay.
Also, disadvantage on perception checks. Have fun with that.
Yep.
All right.
So
So I guess I'll wait here then.
we're going down there then.
Yes, and we should hurry.
Okay.
Sorry, Sock. I tried to stop him, and
Can you make an
Well.
athletics check, Lawrence?
oh boy!
So, can you make an athletic check with disadvantage, please?
Hold on a sec. Let me do something.
Finally!
You say that. No one.
For a certain value thereof.
Yeah, watch homeboy get 23 and 26.
Of course.
Gamsey? Here it is. Okay, so yeah, Lawrence, you're able to like haul him off the bed. So all I'm gonna say is, Sock. Remember how Saitama said that he got really tired and that state that he was in when he got really tired before he became One Punch Man?
Mhm.
That's what your joints do.
Oh, fantastic.
Everything hurts.
Ah, it is Owl my everything. Got it.
But yeah,
Wait.
Lawrence, you managed to haul him up out of the bed.
Come on,
we do this fast. My legs hurt.
Yeah.
You can wait in the carriage.
Let's go.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think the last shot of the episode is the three of you helping Salcoma out of the room. And that's
Just
going to be it for
stack-
episode 40 of Into Waterdeep.
Holy heck.
More shenanigans.
All of the shenanigans.
Another instance to make Sokkum realize mortality.
Can
Just let him burn down the gauntlets. Thing.
you could, but apparently Brayton has to be lawful good in this scenario.
Instead of one big event to make Sokkum realize how mortal he is, it's been these small events slowly stacking up.
It's less give a shit about the gauntlet because they can see them burn for all the cares. It's more, oh shit.
Funny part is this is going to
Don't
lead
blame
to
Connie.
Collateral
Russian
issues.
system. So,
Aye.
like we just are not going to have our tank for anything.
I mean, if he would just rest, and the rest of the Knights would let him rest.
I know, right? Fuck.
Well, we can blame his Vile for that one.
Let the tiefling burn down the church. Come on now.
That's what I'm saying.
He's a grown adult.
If it was the flaming fist, it'd be one thing, but the gauntlet is the mainline version, isn't it?
Yes. Also, he
Again,
never actually
again.
said he was going to burn it down.
Context clues, Fox.
Aye, but he never actually said. Let's do some shout-outs, shall we?
Oh boy.
Gamzee, give me a shout-out so you can go to sleep.
I am Gamzee. I am tired.
You can find him over at these places.
Yeah. And normally I'd say if you got questions, send them to me. But I don't think we're doing that anymore.
We might. I don't know yet.
Send them to me anyway. I'll answer them myself, motherfuckers.
There you go. Gamzee's a good dude. He is the bard in training. Nightfog, give us a shout-out so you can go to sleep.
Fuck show. Night.
That's about you. And he's gone. Okay. That's the best you got, Nightfall, really?
I am Nightfall Kitsune. I push buttons. That's about it.
Beep boop.
Beep boop. Yooch.
Nightfall is very tired.
Yooch.
You can find Nightfall over at these places. Give him a follow. Hit him up. He helps me out with a lot of things when he's not this.
Motherfucker.
Trey Scare, give us a shout out.
Hi guys, Transcare here. I am a mod for Kit's channel. I knit soft and fluffy things, so with the weather turning cold, I do scarves, I do blankets. If you need something soft and warm, I'm your bird. On that note, given that it's getting colder and turning towards the holidays, now that it's into November, if you need help budgeting for such things, feel free to hit me up. I am more than happy to oblige.
Is that all you got?
Yeah, for now.
Fair enough. Did you have fun tonight, Burb?
God, yes.
Good. Gracie, give us a shout out.
In the spirit of those other two dinguses, well, I'm halfling. I'm sleepy. I do art and things for Kit's channel, and I also lift tabletops. So if you like either of those things, give me a poke.
Don't you fucking mock me.
Delta, finish us out.
Yo, I'm Delta, your resident Mad Scotsman. I'm struggling to form thoughts, so come to the Discord, hang out. Yeah, games.
For my part, as ever, I am the sharp-eyed Kitsune, the teller of tales and the weaver of mysteries, the masked bard. This is a channel that is devoted to lore and storytelling, world-building, role-playing, and discussions of those things. So if that's to your fancy, you're in excellent company here, and I do hope that you enjoyed your time with us. I stream every single day that my health permits me to do so, and we're rolling with advantage in 2020 and beyond, which is 2 chances to catch a given stream. Currently, we're playing through Greedfall in the afternoon, finishing out our playthrough of that game, and unfortunately I'll be taking a half day tomorrow, as I still have a meeting on Monday evenings, but I won't be taking half days on Thursdays anymore, because we're just about ready to bring Voices of the Mountain to you, and that will be premiering I think early December, just because of all of the shenanigans that we have in November. But we're getting the art finished for that, and we'll be having Session 0 this week, so stop by for that. We'd love to have you. For now, I'm going to get out of here. We're all tired. It's been a day. But as always, I'd like to leave you with these parting words. From myself, my keepers, and those joining me on the stage this evening, to all of you, the regulars, the followers, the newcomers, and the lurkers. Whether you're just having a seat by the fire or you've got a running tab at the bar, remember, there's always more stories to tell. And hopefully, I'll see you all tomorrow as we get back into Greedfall with a new chapter. Good night, you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by, and hope to see you again soon.